Он еще и с Кобольдом бегает.
everyone, and welcome. We have a great series here, a best of two series. We're going to have Team Fnatic versus PSG LGD over here for Ti10 group stages. I'm here with Purge Gamers, and we're both very excited to watch this match.
Yes, PSG LGD, everyone's been talking about them. We didn't get to cast any of their games yesterday, but they are the talk of the town as expected, the most likely team to end up winning TI. So I cannot wait to see them live. It's going to be great. But the other cool thing is that while Fnatic has been getting some losses, they've also been playing decently well. Maybe not, like around where I expected them to do. So I think there's a good chance of this being a competitive series, but certainly PSG LGD is going to be more likely to take the wins.
Yeah, I would definitely say that everyone that I've talked to has said that, PSG LGD, they look hungry. They look like, they're in top form. You've got Ame. The Chinese crowd has been saying, this is Ame's year to win. They're very, very strongly feeling about that. And of course, nothing to say. Everyone's super excited to watch him play. You've got, some of the old favorites, Faith Bien, Shin Q. It's just an all-star team for sure.
It is, yeah, and luckily they are not forced to use their coach. We haven't had any COVID issues with them as well. There's some teams that I've seen in the hotel so far that seem to be taking precautions even higher. It's like at breakfast or dinners, they sit like on the opposite side of the room from everybody else just to lower the chance, because they're like, yo, there's a lot of money on the line. If we just don't get sick and we're one of the better teams and we trust ourselves, like we can go super far. And yeah, LG's been one of them. I've barely seen those guys. So.
Yep, they're being very, very careful. And of course, we have the one of the favorites out of SEA. We've got Fnatic. A lot of very famous people on this team as well, people that have been playing together for quite a while. Raven, DJ, Jabs, of course, old veterans, I would say. You've got Death, who, in my opinion, is very underrated in terms of his offlane play. We saw him briefly over on Complexity a while back. And of course, Chuen, who everyone is talking about after one of the majors, where he just performed so well.
Yeah, he's been playing super good. Had some fantastic Tide performances earlier today. And first round event's going to see Lycans squeeze up a bit. Didn't see that yesterday, but we did see a lot of Lycan games. So not too surprised to see that adjusted, especially with like the Helm of the Overlord into the Ags build. It just like facilitates and makes your hard carry so much stronger. Max movement speed plus like 40% damage increase on average. So it's a great thing that's hard to deal with. But instead, Tiny makes it through. Fnatic opens with that, and LGD going to do a Wyvern Death Prophet opener, which makes a lot of sense, but is less common for picks so far.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the Tiny picked up, we figured that was going to be something very meta. We've been seeing it, in that core position. And our games the other day, I believe Tiny did not make it through. Did they make it through any games? I don't think so. I think it got banned every single time.
I don't think we casted a single Tiny game in the 6 matches we watched yesterday.
So but he's definitely the flavor of the patch.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of the ones that everybody expected. Earthshaker has been big. Monkey King has been big, obviously. But Queen of Pain, the instant reaction for Fnatic. So, some things about the lineup so far. LGD's Wyvern Death Prophet makes tons of sense. Death Prophet is a pretty strong mid hero who has tower potential, obviously, very strong in team fights. But Wyvern is going to combo with her pretty well, because even if you put her in the Cold Embrace, she's still dealing AoE damage basically and healing, which is going to give her a chance to offset some damage in fights, as does Winter's Curse, basically buy her some time in bad situations. So Fnatic with Tiny, they decided to instantly pick up a burst heavy mid-hero with Queen of Pain. Well, you can play them other roles, play her other ways as well, but more commonly mid, and that burst damage could give you the potential to still kill Death Prophet in these clutch moments. So, kind of interesting to see. We have seen some co-ops, teams have been dabbling with it here and there, but generally it's not really seen as like the best mid-hero. So, kind of cool and excited to see how that works out for him. Banning phase now, Beastmaster, for some push heavy stuff that PSG LGD could go for, kind of reminiscent of the Lycan ban as well. And then LGD banning out the Phoenix, lots of AoE damage. Ultimate very powerful, obviously, and Sunray as well is going to be a little bit hard for Death Prophet to deal with at some point, and Winter Wyvern as well, because if you've already got a Sunray on you, Cold Embrace isn't. It's going to basically like offset the Sunray damage since it does a percentage base. So
it definitely feels like we're seeing a bit of you've got a push strat coming out from the side of PSG LGD with the Death Prophet, but then also you have that counter push, and I feel like a lot of the supports recently having that ability to have the counter push is so incredibly important, especially because right now this meta is very scrappy. I feel like we're constantly seeing fights. It definitely benefits you if you're able to make chaos on the map earlier, and if you have a later game carry, that chance is you're taking a very risky viewpoint, I think, on it.
Yeah, you are. we've seen a lot of games where like someone might have, it might seem like it's an even game for a while, and all of a sudden they just have like an explosive team fight where they like decisively win one fight, and it kind of like opens the map in a way that just means the rest of the game feels kind of over. Because then if you win one more fight after that, you force buybacks, and then it's like you have a massive gold advantage, and good luck coming back from that. It's kind of hard, but it makes for really compelling gameplay. You got to be very careful all the time. Nature's Prophet banned out as well. Dragonite 2. I guess they're a bit worried about tower push. Maybe kind of like the Puck Dragonite sort of thing. Quap loves rotating, loves going for those defensive TPs when your allies get dove, because you've already got a blink built in, so it's very easy for you to guarantee a kill on those rotations, assuming you have Sonic Wave. So that makes a lot of sense. And you still have to worry about Death Prophet silence a little bit, but as a whole, Queen of Pain, Death Prophet doesn't do the most burst damage compared to a lot of mid heroes, so Quap should usually be able to blink out afterwards.
Yeah, the amount of burst damage coming out from the side of Fnatic's draft right now is actually just so immense. I'm actually a little surprised that they opted for the Death Prophet over on PSG LGD, just because Tiny is like one of those heroes. I guess when you're playing him as a position 1, as a core, he's not going to be maybe quite as active. He's going to sit back a little bit more and get his farm on. So perhaps that's why they weren't as worried about it. But generally, when I see a Death Prophet, I'm always a bit leery about seeing a Tiny Queen of Pain, sometimes even, you know, the Lina, right?
Yeah, the burst damage is a little scary. With that said, though, he's got to get directly on top of her, and most Tinies are not building Blink right now from what I've seen. They're going like Echo Saber into Shadow Blade. So assuming your team's playing in the right area with sentries, then you're going to see that coming. And as long as he doesn't avalanche and toss you, the damage that he does is significantly less. So, you know, if you have good detection, Death Prophet's going to be a little bit safer. And with their second support pick now being very strong in the meta right now, that's another save. You can do a second of invulnerability with Nightmare, which is going to be a great way to protect Death Prophet from some major damage output. So assuming you're in the right position, whatever else. So I think that's a pretty cool opening for LGD. Their AoE right now is okay. Death Prophet is pretty good AoE. Winter Wyvern is pretty good AoE. Bane's lacking there, but I think it's a good way to open up the match for LGD here, and they can still be really flexible on lanes. Death Prophet doesn't have to go in the mid lane. You can play side lanes in the past. She's not quite as good at that as she used to be because her movement speed's a bit lower, but she'll still be flexible. So LGD doesn't have too much to worry about right now.
I mean, if you look at back in DPC for Eastern Europe, obviously, you know, what we have on here looks pretty cut and dried, right? You've got a Winter Wyvern Bane. You're thinking those are most likely going to be your supports. But they were also running the Death Prophet as a position 5 at one point. You know, if this was a wackier team, maybe something like OG, you could potentially have seen, you know, the Death Prophet 5 of the Winter Wyvern in, like, the mid lane. But they go for the Luna now over on the side of Fnatic, which is going to give them some really nice tower push. And it also makes me wonder if they're running this Tiny now in the support position.
Yeah, that is a little bit interesting. Or you could do Quap 3, Tiny mid, or you could do Tiny 3 maybe. It's not as good as probably 2. You could do Quap support and play Tiny mid or something. I do like Luna though. Strong laning hero. You're going to be laning against probably a Winter Wyvern 4, I assume, who is an okay laner but not incredible. So pair Luna with some other strong support, you can definitely get kills. The other thing is that Luna has tons of burst damage when playing against a Death Prophet. The Eclipse plus Lucent Beam, you're doing, you know, over 1,000 magic damage. So between like Luna and Quap and what Tiny represent right now, it's a lot of burst against Death Prophet. Like you're gonna need a Glimmer Cape on LGD, probably a Hood or a BKB on DP, something like that. And they go for an Ogre, a support hero who's been seen a little bit here and there by some teams, not really seen as the best support, but it's a very strong laning support. Not as good as Bane, but it has gotten some buffs recently. And most importantly, Bloodlust with Luna is going to make her a much stronger carry. Bloodlust on Tiny is going to make him a much stronger carry as well. So whatever they end up with here, at the end of the day, they're going to have good burst damage, good steroid moves, and, you know, decent laning.
It's pretty interesting to see the way that they're crafting each of their drafts as well. You talked a lot about PSG LGD having the advantage of being able to have these saves, right? You've got to save, you've got to heal, and I felt like a lot of the teams that I've been watching recently that have had very good success do make sure that they have some sort of way to have that heal, have some sort of save. Whereas over on the side of Fnatic, they're going full out aggression, right? They've got a steroid for their Luna, a steroid for their Tiny in the form of that Bloodlust. They haven't really opted for that.
Yeah, the save stuff. Yeah, that's pretty true. And I would also argue that their burst damage is pretty raw damage. It's not so much like you're chain stunning while doing damage. It's like a lion type hero, and that's why I think Void is kind of a cool pick here, because if his HP gets high enough, it's going to be a little difficult with what Fnatic has to chain stun. In fact, right now it's not that easy to chain stun. So you'd have to like burst somebody down in like this like 1 to 2 second window. If Void survives that, he's going to get a time walk off, and then all of a sudden Fnatic's lineup is going to feel really bad. So I would not be surprised to see Void go for that like S and Y build. It's not quite as good right now for when I've seen Voids. They go slightly different ones. But if he just gets tanky right now and survives that initial burst, I feel like he's going to be able to play team fights pretty well. He's going to have to worry about an Orchid. Quap's Orchid will be pretty dangerous, but yeah, we'll see what he adjusts with it. But I think the Void on paper looks quite good right now.
They definitely have all the things that they can throw in, especially with that Death Prophet. As long as she gets the ultimate off, they get the Chronosphere. Really nice synergy with that. And again, having that silence, and also just the way that they can set up some of these fights with, you know, using the Bane generally is what you want to do, but with the Winter Wyvern as well, with that BK piercing sort of stun, or not stun, but like, you know, the ultimate being able to hold someone in place is just, it's a nice feature for sure.
It is, yeah. So Fnatic's last pick, will they grab a second support? Or are we going to see Tiny or Quap be played in a different position? They've still got flexibility here. Anti-healing could be kind of nice on their lineup due to the Death Prophet, the Bane. Well, not the Bane, sorry.
This has to be the Death hero here that they're picking up Fnatic, because if you look at the bans, those are very targeted towards Death.
That's true.
Especially the Doom.
That's what LGD is expecting. Yeah, Doom would have been excellent against DP or Faceless Void, and they go for the Timbersaw. Okay.
All right.
Not a hero that has been seen as strong right now. It was very strong throughout DPC both seasons, more or less, just because of your ability to lane control. They don't necessarily have they don't have any strength heroes right now on the LGD side, so you're not going to be able to get incredible Whirling Death abuse. But if they have weaker laners, Timbersaw is going to feel pretty effective as a 3, and once you get past like the early game, which is normally where Timber's insanely abusive, he's still basically the same hero. So in those like middle and late game scenarios, more damage than they had even before. It's all pure damage, so it's going to cut right through the Winter Wyvern Cold Embrace. Death Prophet's got to be a little bit careful about these in some burst moments, and if Timber can frontline, LG's going to have some damage issues actually, because Winter Wyvern has some damage, but it's not an incredible amount. Death Prophet has quite a lot. Bane has some. Void usually has a medium amount because he has to buy defensive items and survivability items while mixing in damage. So if Timber gets out of the laning stage in a pretty good place, I think he's going to be happy with the heroes he's up against this game. So I like what Fnatic's going for, but let's see what PSG LGD gets with their 5th hero, because that could change things.
Yeah, that seems to be. I believe this is going to be Faith Bien's hero. I would assume by looking at the bans. It's funny, interesting how they have such a high priority as well on the offlaners for both of these teams.
Yeah, yeah, they're both very talented players. I think that's pretty safe to say. Not that it's hard to look at LGD and be like, who's the worst on this team? It's like you shouldn't even have that discussion because they're all so amazing. But
well, apparently when they had someone sitting out, it was their coach, but that's so silly to think because he's actually higher MMR than...
It's going to be an offlane Death Prophet. They're switching
up
a bit.
I like that. That works. That works
quite well. Which is interesting. So he's going to be able to set tempo on Invoker, of course. Going to be able to move around the map, pressure a little bit. They're going to be doing a Queen of Pain mid for Fnatic. And then, yeah, it's a 4-position Tiny. So we'll see how that works out. Being able to toss back into a Timbersaw sounds pretty good, especially when you're the support you're up against is a Bane. Once he gets out of position, he's a little bit in trouble because he can't just like AoE stun and run away. Right. Even Nightmaring and run away, it's really mana expensive. So I think this should be okay for a Tiny. If it was like a slightly different dual lane, maybe I'd feel scarier about it. But yeah, I like the drafts for both teams. I think they look pretty good. LGD has incredible team fight, obviously, but if Fnatic can get the right angles, their burst damage is really high.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think it also will put a lot of pressure over on the mid lane too. The fact that you have Jabs on this Tiny who's going to be making these rotations to be aggressive and whatnot. Because, you know, Death is perfectly fine in that lane. This Tiny's going to have to find levels someplace else for the most part because you don't want to sap from a Timber. That really takes away a lot of his advantages that are early. So I think that's going to be an interesting sort of just way that the game is going to be played. With you have these other heroes that are going to be very cautious.
I wonder how good the Chronospheres are going to be in this game. That's very important.
They better be awesome. I mean, it's Ame. It's Ame, dude. Yeah. Come on. Why are you going to say that?
I'm just saying that their mid-game damage output could be iffy. Invoker obviously combos amazingly with Void when he gets his Aghanim Scepter, because you just chrono the team due to your Cataclysm, maybe two. It's a great late game win condition where, like, even if you're struggling a little bit, once you chrono 2 cores and double Cataclysm, like, good luck winning the game. You know, like, you're going to win some team fights.
Right.
I think that's what LGD is aiming for, is that ultra late. But in the mid game, you're going to have to chronosphere who's the damage follow-up. It's got to either be mostly from Void. Death Prophet would either have to be in chrono or dealing with other people in the meantime. It's like you got to, or Meteor. Basic Chaos Meteor or land the EMP kind of things. Or you can Alacrity the Void, I guess that's another thing. So there are ways to do some damage in the mid game, I suppose, to amplify what Void has, but it might be a little bit weaker than we normally expect, is all I'm saying.
Thank God Raven doesn't have that Luna meow one. That taunt. He's got the other one. Shout out to our observer. We've got JJ running cams for us. You don't have to put up with my terrible obsing. The other day we had a Puck and Storm Spirit game. It was awful. Thank you, JJ. Scriff Weapons, all for whatever you do. You know, it's so much nicer when I don't have to worry about that. But we do have a big smoke coming out here from PSG LGD. They want to get some information early. Searching for those wards, of course. Smoke will break. It's a little hit off here.
Looking across the map, across the river. A lot of Fnatic fans cheering here.
A lot of Fnatic fans. Let's go.
They're trying to get him hyped, which makes some sense because, let's be real, Fnatic is playing very easily the best team in the tournament right now, so getting wins is going to be tough. But if they can do it, this would be huge. Get the W's off the champs, man.
Well, I mean, this is the big one, yeah. You know, everybody's saying, you know, this is PSG LGD. This is Ame's year, according to the Chinese fans. This is the team that's going to win TI. I mean, everybody is, right? If you're a fan of whatever team you are, you're like, oh, yeah, you know, my team, they're going to do it. But they are the team to beat. This is the team that everyone's been doing their homework on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The battle begins.
All right, going for the bounty runes. They won't completely contest, just posturing a bit, but 2 for Fnatic, 2 for LGD as expected. They're still cheering. They won't stop.
They're showing some pride here, too, man.
That's true.
That's very important.
Another important thing, when you have an Invoker, it can really help to contest those runes. Those first couple water runes here. DJ going to start off a fight here in the bot jungle. The old Ignite slapping on 2 people. It always feels
Value.
good. Always feels so good. They're chasing a little bit, limiting Death's ability to get to the creep wave. It's going to take him a bit here.
And he's just going to do Timber Saw things. There's really no other reason to mess too much. DJ, of course, he kept that cheese taunt again, but DJ, you know, doing his best, trying to just push them off here. Because they are going for that aggressive tri-lane over on the side of PSG LGD.
That's going to be pretty important. Like we said, Face's Void's damage could be a big issue here, so it really helps if he's going to be able to have a good laning stage to start things off right. And because Death Prophet has such high movement speed, as a safe laner, and up against a Tiny, it's really not that dangerous as a whole, unless he gets like really separated and they get a lot of right clicks in. So with that said though, if you're worried about a tri-lane, I think a Timber Saw is usually a pretty good hero for that, because he's going to build up stacks pretty quick. He's almost level 3 already, which is really, really important here. DJ's been giving him some soul experience. And once he gets that level 2 in reactive armor, his life's going to be just easier because he gets double the stacks and a lot more armor.
It's a very tanky boy lane too. They're very brawly. They don't really care if they're getting smacked, especially the Timber. I think the only hero that really enjoys that tri-lane even more would be something like an Elder Titan that gets the extra bonus with the extra bodies. But Chuen has to be a little bit careful. Nothing to say. Plinking away on him over here.
Jab's getting pressured on the other side of the map a little bit, and they're just going to reset to 2 lanes now. Bought themselves a little time, but I don't think it really accomplished a whole lot. I mean, Death's sitting at 9 last hits, and the Face's Void is 8 and 4. So maybe they get a couple more denies on them, but just a little bit of tricky movement for now. Could affect them later because Jinku now doesn't have a TP, so maybe that's going to limit their ability to rotate for kills or something. But for now, game quite even.
You can see DJ just giving a couple whacks over here to Y. Good hero here to be able to just kind of trade back and forth. The brain sap. So pretty stagnant though, pretty quiet.
He was able to get Orb of Venom as well. This is actually really helping him out against Bane. He's got a lot more armor.
Xinkyu, he might actually be the first blood. In fact, yes, he is down a go.
There it is. The old toss into tower move. Very powerful.
Classic.
That's how you kill people. You just let your tower do it. Makes sense.
It sounds very lazy, like the lazy man's way to play Dota.
Yeah, it's like Tiny Pudge. They're like, I don't need to be strong. I just need you to stand on my tower for some mysterious reason. It works out.
Don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it. Another courier going down here. Death's courier this time around.
He just got his magic wand. He'll be fine. He's going to save up for a Ring of Health anyways, and his lane has been completely okay, frankly, so far. I'm not worried at all if I am cheering for Fnatic, which people are, believe me. Don't do it. You don't need to do it anymore, guys, I promise. We know.
More!
Refilling Chuan's bottle in the mid lane here. He's going to be really happy. There it is.
Yeah, all right.
All right, we know you're still there.
It's always nice when you have a water boy, though, to bring you a full bottle. But mid lane fairly even here between Twen and Nothing to Say, 18 and 5 over on the Queen of Pain, 18 and 4 on Invoker. Again, Invoker, one of those heroes that most likely not going to rotate unless he gets a Rune of Opportunity. The Queen of Pain probably, we'll see the opportunity. Maybe someone's trying to dive under tower, or they're going to try to push their luck in another lane. Because they need to make some space here for this Faceless Void.
They do, but most importantly, it's like one of those things where when your Chrono's up, you want to get a kill with it if possible, and hopefully it doesn't take you a lot of time to like group, run to your support, pop a smoke, run somewhere, get a Chronosphere. You want to get these like little pickup kills that even if it's like a 5 or a 4, they still accelerate you a decent amount while still keeping your farm level really high. That's what you want to go for if you can, but if they just keep putting Timber in the same lane as him, he's not going to get that same opportunity, and that's why they rotated lanes most likely. They put Faith Beyond in the lane against Timber. Faith Beyond can offset any harass he takes with his Spirit Siphon, and now it's going to be carry versus carry on the top lane, and instantly they teleport Death up there. They're like, lane swap, baby. Don't let him get any lane that he can get a kill in, basically. Swap him around and make things perfect for this lane matchup.
Ame is definitely not enjoying over here the fact that he is just getting bullied constantly. Death, of course, having the run of the place. But still, CS is not looking horribly either way.
Almost level 6 for the mid players here. It's going to make rotations a lot easier. Going for kills on Faces Void would be great, but again, their disable is pretty weak. So actually finding a kill setup might be hard for them for quite a while here. So for now, just lane farming. Everyone tries to get as much gold as possible in levels, and it's quite even across the board. It's good for Fnatic.
Man, I feel like every time Tuen goes anywhere near, like trying to get some of these last hits or goes for the scream, he's just immediately punished by Nothing to Say.
Yep.
Every single time. You just see that health just disappear.
And he's going Quas Exhort as well, so going for Sunstrike builds, very solid with the Chrono combo. It's a good way to do damage in the mid game as well. And it seems really clear that's why they picked Invoker. It just, ooh, the gank comes.
Yeah, jab, Sonic Wave. He's just still a little bit alive. Even goes and pops that Fairy Fire on top of it.
I cannot believe he survived.
But look at DJ. Look at DJ. He's like, come on. Come on.
Did some damage miss there or something?
Look, he drops the ward on top of that too. The Ghosts themselves, they know that he's hiding in this tree line because he's not showing anywhere else. Oh, that was very close.
I can't believe he was alive. I guess it's just a level 2 Tiny, so the damage is a bit lower than they expected, but that's a big
They're
deal.
going back in. They have a haste over on Twen. Open up with the Ignite. Jabs are teleporting, and they want to try to protect him. And in comes the bank, and they stares around. Jabs not looking too good. Jabs is going to fall. Nothing to Say now. Trying to run, trying to make his way. Eventually does go down. Now
Okay.
DJ forced to run, but looks like they're not going to chase after him. They will take his courier instead. That is, of course, all the detection that he has just saved up his hard-earned pennies for.
It took some doing, but they're able to get him. If they didn't have the haste rune on Quath, there's like no way they get that kill because he would have had to blink aggressively to go in. He would have died after they got the kill, and it wouldn't have felt worth it. But that one did end up being valuable. Plus, again, forcing another rotation. That means Y's not able to get on the map to go where he wants to go. In the meantime, Death is just getting the absolute free farm that he wants. So I gotta say, this is looking like a great Timbersaw game.
This is looking a bit problematic, honestly, the fact that they haven't had to deal with him. And as I say this, though, they go for the Chronosphere, they go for the Exorcism.
And
Sunstrike as well, but he's so tanky. In fact, they turn it right back around, they get the kill on Ame. Death running now, trying to outrun these ghostly ladies. He's got the Timber Chain, but no, there's a Shinku nearby. It's still a... Oh my gosh, he went and got neutral.
Oh my god.
The neutral creep got it.
Yo, Death, great gank on the safe lane carry.
Underrated off-lane player, dude.
Really great gank there. That's insane for game momentum. That was Chronosphere used, and he gets the kill because Jabs rotated perfectly there. What an absolute amazing play. So big for Fnatic. And Exorcism. Forgot about that one, guys.
The Exos. Faith Beyond moving away.
They would have liked that kill, of course, but hey, it's okay. They don't all work out. Just need to be a little closer and Tiny to toss him back, but still incredible for Fnatic. Only downside is that Death did die. He lost a little gold. Just a little.
But I believe he did exactly what he needed to do in that fight. Like,
God,
100%.
yes.
He absorbed so much.
Time, damage, and everything. Yep. So now the supports are laning off in the top lane, like, please give me some levels so I can play the game. Exciting for them, of course.
Level 3 Tiny. Feels bad.
And Faces Void spend a little time jungling, but he's going to pick up the Chip Vest, which is going to be really great for him. Awesome way to accelerate if you don't have an AoE skill, and Faces Void is one of those heroes that lacks on farming,
look
but
at no matter where he goes, Death is following him. That sounds like I'm making up a proverb or something like that, but they have the whole gang squad. Sonic Wave, Death goes in, gets the kill on Ame. And Faithion now having to be a bit careful here. He's being dove underneath his own tower. The Chakram comes out. They're trying to burst down this witch here. Although, if it does, perhaps he went a little bit too far. Nothing to say, giving some clicks out, but the Luna's here. They're going to go back in. That's a kill for Chuen. And Nothing to Say needs to be very careful because I told you, we looked at this draft purge, they were aggressive. And boy, are they playing it aggressively.
Yeah, they're looking at the map and they're like, well, we know where Faces Void is. Bane's farm in the safe lane. He's in the tri-camp, obviously. Death just walks there. Even if they do run at him, he's still quite tanky. He doesn't have a hood yet, surprisingly, but he still feels really comfortable to make these moves. And when they spot the Void like that, and he's only level 6, the team just strolls over and they put the pressure in and get that big kill.
Jabs is being quite cheeky here. Look at these level differences over on the side of Fnatic versus PSG currently.
Getting kills helps a lot.
Getting kills does. I mean, with...
He walked to the lane again. Faces Void's top. He's like, all right, heading over, guys. Be
My
right there.
best friend, the Faceless Void. How you doing, buddy?
There's that replay there. A little damage being dealt. The Sonic Wave. They pick up a courier as well. Then that gives them time to now dive for Faith Beyond. Just excellent execution.
I'm sure he has had absolutely enough with this Timber Saw, but they do rotate Faithion, go wide, they go for the Exorcism, they're like, get this guy off of me. Follow Shinkyu, this is 4 heroes up here. Jabs with a nice avalanche, slows them down just enough. Death, he's running, there's gonna be the Sunstrike,
no.
He can't get him. Can they get there faster? No, he's got the 17 up, he is an escape artist. Death is going to survive.
No way.
After they rotated 4 heroes, burn the Exo.
Ankle's broken. That was 4 broken ankles, guys. Maybe 8, we'll see. That I can't believe he's lived again. That time I was like, there's no way he lives. There's no way. They're definitely going to get him this time. Doesn't have a hood. He's got lots of regen, lots of levels, 4 points in reactive armor, and that was enough.
No hood still, again.
Yeah, he just doesn't need it. Most Timber Saws just buy that right away, get all these tanky items. But Death is just, he's picking up his quick items. He wants a different
Fnatic on the aggressive again. They want to try to get Nothing to Say. They did land a nice silence, which bought a little bit more time. Jabs, though, perhaps going a bit too deep, so he is forced to try to juke. Nope, the Crypt Swarm at the last second from Faithion will ensure his death.
A lot of Sunstrikes that are not quite landing perfectly. They're just in their mind right now, and that's got to hurt. When you miss the first couple, you start to lose confidence. You're thinking like, oh man, they're always one step ahead of me. If you can't get past these mind games, it's going to be a lot harder for Nothing to Say to accelerate in levels. That's a big deal. It's delayed Ags. With that said, he's got a Midas. He's the most farmed person on his team right now, so he's just got to keep this up till they can get the Ags. The game is not over at all for LGD.
They are losing real estate, though, and that is something that they have to be hyper aware of. They're really pushing into their side of the jungle. They're making sure that they're just trying to take as much space away as possible. Shinkyu trying to clear up this creep wave, but does have to be careful here. Death would love to add another notch onto this belt that he's got going on. He's chasing him down. Casually, Chuen says, oh, what are we doing? Let me help. And that's another kill for Death.
He's just creating so much space.
He's living up to his name, dude.
Yep, his Yules is just about completed. He needs to buy a Void Stone here. And that'll be great against potentially Faces Void if he Chronos. He could use it on himself if he's in trouble.
If he gets silenced.
If he gets silenced, he could also Yules a Bane if Bane's gripping someone. Timber chain in, Yules that guy. There's a lot of good things he can do with this item. And clearly he's not needing the hood too badly. And look at this, he's not even letting him get close to this tower. He can just be so aggressive.
He is respecting it, though. He's backing off a little bit. Or actually, he's just luring in Faithion here. Chakram, Spirit, Siphon won't work. A bottom lane. They went for the Chronosphere, and they do manage to take down Jabs. That's a Nightmare over onto Chuen.
That's the only kill they're getting. I think LGD is absolutely not happy. Look at the net worth difference now. 3K gold advantage for Fnatic. The constant pressure on the top lane. They just, again, they have damage problems. Their damage is Exorcism and Sunstrike and Void if Void is farmed. Void's not farmed. The Sunstrike's
trying. Ame's trying really hard, but everywhere he goes, there's just a Timber Saw. Hello.
And the Sunstrikes are hard to land outside Chronosphere. They don't have cheap, easy disables. It's like Winter's Curse, they have a bunch of slows, and they have grip. So it's like anytime they want to pressure Death, there's just, it's not super easy to do with the heroes they have. This Bane plus Winter Wyvern combo, it just feels a little bit limited for him.
Nothing to say, walking into Twin and jabs, toss over. Gonna take a little bit of a nap here, this Tiny. Sonic Wave coming out, nothing to say, it's just absolutely blown up. And oh look, it's our good friend Death as Y just gets cut down. They're not even done. There's not a lot of mana left on Twin. He's looking at Faith Beyond like, hey.
And he's almost got his Orchid finished. 400 gold to go, and we're only 14 minutes in the game.
Oh my god, jabs. Jabs,
it
please.
It just gets better. Oh, I just pressed enter. There's a couple jab spams going on
There's
here.
just a couple. He's also just asking for a high five, non-stop. Just following them all around. All of these spams.
Gotta get in their minds, dude. Raise your team morale.
This is where you mute the enemy team.
That's a safe play. Very safe play.
Only
Ti,
allow, you know, incoming team chat.
Not a bad idea. Sometimes you gotta mute your teammates too.
It's warfare. It's absolute warfare. Yeah, sometimes I have to mute you.
I believe that.
Nah, dude, I'm kidding.
Faces Void dreaming of a Maelstrom here. He's got it queued up. He's got 1,000 gold in the bank, but he's got a ways to go. The only salvation is this Chip Fest, one of the few neutral items that accelerates you in an AoE sense here. So just bought himself a teleport scroll as well. That's the other thing. You run at him, you make him leave. It's like he's got to spend 100 gold every time
I was about to say,
lanes.
I want to know how much gold he's had to spend on being able to just move around the map. Why? Throwing out the Nightmare here on Death.
Will this be his time?
No.
Nope.
He's still going too. He's like, ha, come back here. Looks like they're going to try to go for a D-ward at the very least. That silence getting tossed out over onto Death. He's got the Yules to be able to just remove it. And he's just still going. He still wants a kill. He wants Y. He saw Y in the first place. Being Strip will hold him into play. Looks like they're finally going to be able to get that kill that they wanted for so long. But
honestly, still feels good.
That's an Exo burn. They're not taking on their side of the map. They're not taking any objectives.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Death got them to use. They got him to use Exorcism near their tier 2 tower on their side of the map. Like by the time he gets to the tier 1 tower, it's over, and now they just get another kill.
And now
like,
Faith Beyond is thinking, oh dear God, I need to get out of here as fast as possible.
Yep.
DJ is here. All right, there it is. There's a Chronosphere, but where are you going to get all that damage? Throwing in. There's a Sunstreak. All right, Twen will fall. The silence, but they're still running after them. They don't want to give any quarter, although DJ's sitting very low. They're going to be able to find themselves a kill. Raven, though, looking very healthy, and Ame is looking very dead right now. Faith Beyond trying to hide in the corner. They have the Yules. This is not going to end well for you, sir. The high five coming out from Jabs. Yet again, it's a double kill for Raven. And another voice line from Jabs.
It was a good pressure.
Get out of there, why, homie. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. Jabs with the blink, the toss back. It's like I got your little present for when you wake up, Death. Just goes right on through the yo-yo of Death. Does, of course, have the brain sap, so it looks like he's going to be all right there, but I'm sure he was a little like, oh no. At least I was.
Yeah, and this is the important thing to do. He's forcing LGD to react to him constantly, and once in a while they get a kill on him, but they burned Fiend's Grip, they used Exorcism, and if Ame was able to survive in that fight, it would have been okay, if not good for them, but tough for him that he ends up getting cleaned up on the back line. Still struggling on levels, but he's at level 11 now, so it's a lot better. Being there for the Timber kill was huge, I'm sure. It jumps their levels a lot. It gives them more tools to work with. So a little, maybe the net worth is about even, but the level catch-up was going to be huge in that moment.
That's very important. Now, Fnatic, they need to keep up this pressure because, like we said, if you take a look at the net worth for the Invoker, he's still sitting very pretty. You get a Chronosphere, you get the Cataclysm, it goes late enough. It looks very tidy. It's very difficult to deal with. So it looks like Fnatic, though, they've got their eyes on the prize. They're thinking, all right, we're very powerful right now. We've got some good items. We've got the BKB on Luna. Let's get an Aegis.
That's the way to do it. And even still, it's scary for PSG LGD to cross the map because they know at any time Death could come and do 300 pure damage to them. And they're going to have to react to that because you don't know if somebody else is going to jump out and kill you. You got to worry about Quap and so many other things.
We got the Ags online, though.
Okay.
This is the moment now for PSG LGD. They don't have the Chronosphere up just yet.
They do have
Look
a blink
at
on Jabs, though. He's got
Jabs
his own.
knows. He has just been trailing Faceless Void this entire time, blinking forward, hoping he can get his hands on them just a little bit too short, which is very lucky for them. Faith Beyond will spot out DJ over on the side.
Ooh, we got one new tool, though. Winter Wyvern. Jinq on has picked up his Orchid, so this will give him the ability to get some kills. You can't necessarily just Winter's Curse somebody by themselves right now because it doesn't last as long, but if they're grouped up together, you can amplify all the damage you do to that one guy. It gives them another way to deal with Timbersaw. Obviously, he can still use it off, but now they have multiple silences, force him to use it, then get the kill. Or Quap jumps in aggressively, Orchid her, pick up that kill. They've got some options now, but still, there's a BKB and an Aegis on Raven. Raven traditionally does not make very many mistakes as a carry player. He has always been extremely talented, great stats at every TI he participates in, so good luck finding and punishing them.
Again, it all comes down to Xingqiu in a very good position until they cut down all of his trees, of course. Trying to find that optimal Winter's Curse or anyone that's just being a little bit too aggressive. Still managing to hide a bit over to the side. As the Exorcism does get used in the mid lane. Not enough to take down the tower, though, and they have plenty of burst damage. Faithian trying to stay alive, just not looking like he's going to be able to do it. Oh, he has the Yules. Can they finish off the tower in time? It's not looking like they will, as they will finish off Faithian. Y will just get burst down. And Death continues his tirade, continues this oh, okay, all right, they follow it up. This is what we're waiting for. Here comes the Sun Strike, it's beautiful. Takes down Death, and it will take out that Aegis. It's Raven having to come right back up again, but now, here's the problem, Purge. You killed him once.
Yeah.
How do you kill them again right now?
Yeah, you gotta wait. Slow things down if at all possible, because 2 minutes on Chronosphere is gone. I don't know what Cataclysm is, but if there's no Chrono, Cataclysm's not gonna feel as good. So the next item solutions, I guess there's not really a good way to save your allies. Outside of the upgraded Yules, you could buy that to save somebody that's about to Cataclysm die in Chronosphere, but Glimmer Cape doesn't do it, it's all pure damage, so yeah. For now, they just gotta try to slow the game down if possible, and these occasional deaths on Death are still feeling good because they're getting kills, they're crushing the map, and now
that doesn't feel good though. Faithian taking a lot of damage to the silence. He's got the Yules, he should be able to purge off the silence, but they need to get out faster, and they have too much magic damage. That save from Xingqiu not going to do it enough.
Good attempt, but like they didn't even get close to the they were approaching the tri-camp, but they weren't that close. And as soon as they get forward, they jump in with the tiny, they have a toss, they have follow-ups. So they're not letting LGD even get close to like dewarding these high cliff areas. They do have one ward over here, which is helping them a bit, but apparently not enough because they don't have perfect vision. Now it's Jabs looking for Ame.
He is indeed looking for. He has been on Ame the entire time, my friend. Yeah, look at this. Throws out the high five. Ame has got to be sick of seeing that.
Just great reaction there. Jab's going, not even a reaction, he's planning ahead. It's like, I see Ame on a creep wave or know about where he's going to play on the map. You show up, you get there in time, and then it is a lot easier for your core, your Queen of Pain to just show up. He TPs, he blinks over, he gets the follow-up on that kill, and now a huge kill on Ame. But with that said, it's almost time. 40 seconds left on Chronosphere. So we should be able to see another Cataclysm coming out. And the real question is, like, how many kills are you going to get? If it's just going to be one, like the last fight, they got Aegis, obviously, but we won't count that there. If you're just getting one fight or one kill per Cataclysm, but you're still getting wrecked across the map, it's not going to feel good enough. They need to get a good team fight with multiple people in Chrono, and Cataclysm needs to get a lot.
Oh dear, I believe Y is going to be disappearing very shortly as they cut down the trees. They've silenced him, and we'll try to eventually just get, that's a funny looking thing there. Brain sap, couple more clicks, and Death, hello? No, we're just kidding, dude. You have been like, you have been an outstanding.
Yeah, just camera's at a bad angle, that's all. It's not his fault.
He didn't want to do it anyways. It was the BM chain.
All right, we got nothing to say. He's got Boots of Travel finished, queuing up a BKB next, so no refresher anytime soon. But he does need BKB to help himself stay alive. Totally makes sense why he's going for this. But with that said, the Bloodlust is now maxed up on the Ogre. He's even been able to afford an Aether Lens. It's going to make it easier for him to land his Fire Blast from range, get those long duration stuns. But mostly just amplify his team. And the pressure continues. Death almost. He's got a Sange, got a Plate Mail, going for Lotus Orb up next. Just going to help protect himself against Enfeeble or Grip. But look at the smoke.
It is time. The Chronosphere is up. The Cataclysm is up.
Oh,
Jabs just wanders
invis.
on in and breaks the smoke, and they don't know that he's there. They drop the sentry. They're a little too late. DJ looking for this opening. They're trying to back off. They're not sure if they want to go back. And look at Ame, though. So patient. Trying to find this opening. DJ is being a little cheeky over here. He's just going to try to take that outpost. Easy peasy. The silence comes off. They won't have an Ogre for this fight. So I think Fnatic is going to respect that. But again, it's an EXO on their side of the map. It's
Once
not
again.
how you want to use those.
Yeah, he was being pretty cheeky there. He's going to take Shrine, be like, hey guys, I'm here, taking Shrine. And he almost dodged the Tornado, and it looked a little bit weak, but the fact that everybody was able to disengage while Exorcism was used completely changes everything. But the thing is, if they don't use Exorcism there, maybe they don't even kill Ogre. Like, they kind of needed to do it because, once again, their damage is not super easy to execute or low resource usage. So, one dead hero, briefly back up, and now they're going to be on the map again.
Chen is already on the hunt with his good friend Jabs. As Wise just trying to buy some more time. They'll throw a tree out, they'll blink forward, they'll eventually get the Bane. It's just going to take them a little while, and this is a little bit of more space, right? This is more space for Ame. He's going to be able to go hit some more creeps.
I guess. I mean, he's jungling with a Maelstrom only at 23 minutes. Like,
It doesn't feel
he's
good,
hitting
but
creeps, but it doesn't feel amazing, yeah.
what else is he going to hit right now, though, dude?
Well, I'm just saying if he's hitting a creep wave, he's getting more golden experience is all I'm
True.
saying. So
Okay,
if he's like off on the bot lane, about to pressure a tier 2 tower, kind of like how Nothing to Say is, I would be like, I'm happy for Void. But if it's Invoker getting it, you know, I'd prefer that net worth goes to Void because Void's got a lot of catch up to do. Like, he's 9.3k gold or net worth, and Luna's over there 15k, very strong. Eye of Scotty's finished. That means the Death Prophet's out of the game effectively, because now you're getting 40% less lifesteal. That's like the Scotty moment is terrifying for Death Prophet when it comes. So like now your offlaner, Faith Beyond, is a damage source. He's not going to be able to tank nearly the same.
And look at the way that they smoke up. They're like, where is Ame? We know that he's going to want to be hitting creeps. He wants to farm. He wasn't on the top part, but you see, they read it so well. They immediately go, they teleport him up to the top lane. It's a double damage room, but they're just going to push it out. And right now, it definitely feels very scary for PSG LGD. It feels like they're not able to step out of the space hardly at all. Another smoke coming out, though. They're looking to use this combination because it went very well last fight, but they need to make sure that they get enough people and the right people.
Yeah, not just an Ogre.
Not just DJ, who just happens to wander on through again. Hey, guys. Do you guys know that Purge does a really good Ogre impersonation?
It's not true.
It definitely does. If you were watching the our pre-show over on the other stream the other day.
Man, was that the fill hour that we did?
That was our pre-show, Purge.
Ah, yes, very good. We basically covered everything that you'll ever need to know about TI in it, but you know, until the first game played. Now it's all irrelevant, but
and then some.
yes. So got to play those supports in the front, break the smokes.
When finding himself faceless void bashes, but they follow up. Sonic Wave, he's out of here. Not in the way he wants to be. Again, they found themselves death. They'll go with the Sunstrike. They should be able to get the kill on the Timbersaw this time around. But again, another EXO over on that side. DJ and Raven just slicing through. Okay, that's a really nice Winter's Curse. That's going to buy a bit more time. He's fairly tanky, though. I don't believe it's going to be quite enough to take out Chuen, as Jabs is indeed here. Faithian, he can't decide. He's like, should I stay or should I go? Which I'm pretty sure is a song. And he decides, I need to leave.
I'm surprised that Winter's Curse didn't produce a kill. I mean, that's a Luna hitting you. That's scary stuff. But
it's a fairly tanky Queen of Pain, too.
Yeah, she was. I think it's just that they have decent levels. She went Strength Talent. Nothing's really weird going on here. The main thing was, I guess, that Luna's neutral item isn't damage-based. She went Scotty, which is like an okay damage item, not incredible. And Luna traditionally just does a lot of AoE as well. So just kind of worked out nicely. She also didn't have Bloodlust on her at the time. Otherwise, it would have been a kill for sure.
Yeah,
so. A little tough. Once again, Death is the only guy that dies, but he is safe. I can't help but think that he wants maybe a Lotus Orb, or not a Lotus, the Aeon Disc. Maybe if you can get it to proc, that's like maybe the one way to save him, other than like somebody else using him in the air. But you know, either way, he's tanking the damage, and his team's still getting kills, getting advantage. They're waiting for second Roshan, which I'm pretty confident to say that they should be set on, especially because they're waiting on Cataclysm now. Cataclysm got used, it's up in 20, so I guess they'll still have a window on LGD. When Roche comes up, they'll have one more Cataclysm team fight, and if they get enough kills with it, then PSG LGD can get back in this game. They can take Aegis, they can take the Shard. Or if Fnatic goes crazy trying to take or sneak Roche and LGD gets there in time and perfectly sets up, it could be really good for them. But as time goes on, Fnatic is slowly compounding their advantage more and more and more. Void is still pretty far behind. He's got the items of like a 20-minute Faces Void. and it's at 27 minutes. It's been a tough game for Ame.
I mean, he's hanging in there. Nothing to say, of course, just trying to find any sort of farm on the map, pushing out these lanes. And he's done a fairly good job in just being able to keep their space open, I guess is a good way to put it,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But Fnatic is definitely very, just incredibly aggressive. Oh wait, we get another smoke coming out from the side of PSG LGD. Looking for that opening. There is a death over to the top. Don't know if that's necessarily who they want. They'd rather that they were together. And look at the way they're playing. They're putting these very tanky boys up in front. The Silence immediately comes out with that Lotus. Going for the Exorcism. The rest of the team, though, still waiting patiently. They're hoping they find something else. Sonic Wave. There's the Chronosphere coming out. There's going to be some of those meatballs. The Cataclysm. Is this going to be enough? No. Chuan still alive and kicking his death. Over on the back line, just making absolute mayhem, chasing after these supports. It's going to get thrown up into the air. They've got the slow on the ground. Okay, there it is, Winter's Curse, but that is not the person you want. You wanted to turn that back. A Wretch Q, no! And they'll turn right back in again. Lucent Beam will collect.
Ame had to make a choice there, and they didn't have vision, actually. On that cliff, he jumped up, he lands a Chrono, and it's just the Queen of Pain, unfortunately. And he gets pushed back by the Sonic Wave, too. It just ended up producing not a great team fight. Even if they killed Quap there, I don't think they win that fight, unfortunately. But they broke the smokes, DJ gets some Ignites off, that makes things a little bit easier. And ultimately, everyone stays alive for the fight, so Fnatic should be able to get this Aegis without any trouble at all. And they get a free shard. Shard's probably going to Luna now. Picks up a Satanic as well, going for the battle build. He wants to just be able to stay alive. And this is also another smart item. It's only giving him 55 damage. It's mostly tank and survivability, and that's really all he needs here. He does not want to be high damage. He doesn't necessarily want a Daedalus. He wants to make sure that if he gets cursed with somebody, that person is going to live if they have a moderate amount of health and they're full HP.
We've got the shard picked up on Luna now as well from the Roshan. Which gives you that Lucent Beam and then throws out the Glaives. So even more damage going to be dumped in the space. But it's, like you said, it is controlled damage. It is damage that unless Raven goes and decides to use it, it's not going to affect during the Winter's Curse. And look at this. Ame just gets walked up here by jabs. You've got a support who's just like, I don't care. Literally been chasing him around the map, wanting the high five.
It's a thing to do, honestly. He's been doing it from the start of the game, basically. He walks up. It's kind of what Death has been doing. You look at the guy that's weaker than you and is unfortunately in a position where he can't do anything if you play aggressive like that. You walk up, you harass them, you zone them, and you're happy.
Nothing to say. There are many people that are slowly coming over here. Death doesn't have that detection. We'll just ping it out, but he's very speedy. Walks into jabs. BKB comes out. He's going to have to teleport away. He cannot stay here. That is not how you want to use that BKB.
It's not. That was an 8-second BKB, so it's getting a little lower. Not the best for him, unfortunately, but either way, he's got to go play on that side of the map no matter what, because he is the most survivable. The reason he's been doing it over Ame is because there was such a long period of time where he had BKB and escape tools. Ame did not. He doesn't want to have to blow Chronospheres defensively, for example. So that's what they had to do, push out those side lanes, and eventually you're going to get punished and have to use BKB. And here comes the high ground.
Here comes the high ground. Shinkyu in position, though. They're looking like they want to just get rid of this Wyvern. They don't want to have to... Yeah, there's no Winter's Curse that they have to worry about at all. No buyback up here on Wyvern for 40-something seconds. Several Lotus Orbs being thrown out. Faith Beyond trying to run away. Death just keeps putting on that pressure. The Exorcism does get popped. They go for that Chronosphere, followed up with the Sunstrike. So they'll blow up Death. But you still have a Luna over here. And you do have someone who's gone perhaps a little bit too far. Jab's going to pay for his sins here for going in, but a couple more clicks coming out. Got the XO, nothing to say. We'll just slowly get chipped down. And Fabian, he's trying everything he can. He's got all the ghosts, but look at that multicast. Oh dear. Raven just doing things that a Luna does in this mid-game. Hitting the buildings, forcing them back.
They just can't approach at all. DJ did a cool move there during the Chrono. He actually walked up and tanked one of the Sunstrikes that was going to hit the Luna to split the damage in half, just to keep Raven's HP a little bit higher. So these like little min-max things that they did gives them a better chance in these team fights. But LGD has to go for that. Unfortunately for them, they don't quite have the Refresher Orb. They didn't have it in that match. There's 4,000 gold on the Invoker, but he wasn't quite there yet. Ate the Sunstrike in that clip right there. And yeah, they're going to kill Jabs in the back line, but Faith Beyond is not the best front liner at this point. They used a great halberd on the LGD side against Raven to buy them some time right before his BKB got popped. But unfortunately, at that point, fight was still too far over. Void desperately looking to catch up here. Almost, he does have Mjolnir now, aiming for a shard. and a Scotty is absolutely necessary against Luna, but the net worth disadvantage is so big. We're like almost double now. Raven was almost 2 times the net worth of the enemy carry. And now he's got Butterfly too. So
he still has an Aegis. He still has an Aegis. Sky is having a perfect game, 6-0-5 right now. Very powerful. He's got his teammates to go and tank all of this damage. Look at this, he just does not care. He gets silenced. Okay, big deal. He's got a Lotus on him. Oh, it pops it. Plus with this.
That was a mirror shield. He had a Linken's and a Lotus. That's a mirror shield.
That's pretty much it.
And he's got armor here.
Off here. There it is. There's Winter's Curse. Again, it's the wrong target, though. These guys, they don't do enough.
Oh, no.
It's a follow-up.
It's too early.
No, it's too early. That's a huge mistake. The Aegis, though, does get popped. But we're coming right back up again. Shin Q, he will fall. Raven's back up. He's got the BKB. He's getting Fiend's Grip. But the rest of the team, what are they going to do to him? What can they possibly do? The buyback coming out now from Wyvern. They're trying to find any sort of an opening, and they get the Eclipse off. All right, BKB popped over onto Ame. He's trying to force them out of his base. He does not like that. They're here. Chuen gets stunned up. Couple of bashes. Not going to be able to run away this time around. Silence over onto this Timbersaw. Raven, though, he pops. That's Satanic. He gets Chronosphered by Ame. They're going to be able to follow up with the Cataclysm, with the Meatballs. It's enough. They take down the Luna. Death running for his life now. The tables have turned. LGD, they're just going after them, taking them down one by one. DJ, he's been a sassy boy this entire time, but they've had enough. Where's your high five now, dude?
All right, they finally win a team fight. It looked so bad after that Cataclysm came out. If Winter's Curse is active, nobody there takes damage except for the primary guy from Winter Wyvern. So those Sunstrikes hit just a moment too early, and as a result, it looked really bad. But the crucial mistake was Chuen jumping in and getting killed a little out of position. The tower wasn't dead. Fnatic was flexing their strength clearly, but him dying was too much. Because once he's down, the burst damage is gone, and Fnatic wasn't able to prevent LGD from chasing them down and scoring those kills.
What a fight. Honestly, what a fight. You cannot, at this level, when you are a team at Ti10, you cannot make these mistakes.
You can't. But on the bright side, a little opening from their opponent, some good punishment, and they were able to get the Queen of Pain. The BKB had already been used on her, so she ends up getting destroyed. She's queuing up a Satanic now. She might have been silenced. I do remember seeing silence when she was dying, but I don't know if she had blink or not is what I'm saying. Maybe she could have blinked out or something, but...
I mean, that is, it's both a curse and a blessing, right? When you have a very aggressive team, a very aggressive draft, and maybe sometimes you're feeling yourself a little bit too much. You're like, man, there's no way that we could possibly do this.
We're winning. They wasted their Cataclysm. It didn't. Their Chronosphere is down. We can certainly fight, but you know, they don't have any defensive items actually on their team. They just have some Yule Scepters. DJ did purchase the Fire Shield Shard, so he's been slapping that on his teammates, which is a great way to reduce the damage that Void does. But you know, other than that, Lotus, Linken's, they don't have a Force Staff, they don't have a Glimmer. Either of those items might have saved Queen of Pain, for example, but they're not working with it. They didn't need it until that moment.
And then they were like, man, we really needed that.
He bought it.
He got the Wind Waker.
And that's why Tiny didn't have a Force Staff or a Glimmer, because he's like, I know what I need to make sure Cataclysm does not guarantee kill one of my cores every fight for the rest of the game. And it's that item, Wind Waker.
It's the second Wind Waker I think you and I have cast.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think we saw a Puck have it the other day. Raven does get revealed.
Uh-oh.
Looking for the Chronosphere, manages to go and grab 2 of the cores, but there it is, there's the Wind Waker. Buys them just enough time. Chuen, though, not going to be quite as lucky. BKB coming out, they'll be able to go and use the Winter's Curse, holding this Luna in place. As over on the other side, it's not looking great for DJ, not looking great for Jabs. Cores, though, they need a bit of help. There's so much damage. The Fear, the Exorcism, they blow up Raven, and this is looking like a very dead death, too.
They were not ready for that fight, and there was a perfect Observer Ward placed by LGD waiting for them to cross the river. They had perfect vision. They get the big Chronosphere, and even with that Wind Waker save on Luna, Quap dies instantly, no buyback, and all of a sudden, LGD is ahead. And let's think back, guys. Fnatic's been crushing all game. Here's that replay once again. They grip the Quap to guarantee her death. Ame's DPS is actually pretty solid now. He's able to clean up DJ on the backline. Winter's Curse offsets the BKB in the Eclipse of Luna. Then they tornadoed. It just allowed them to separate the fight so well. And that one mistake with Quap dying mid has opened up so much for LGD.
They do not have buyback on their 2 cores right now. They're just ripping through these buildings. And I wonder if PSG, I feel like perhaps they're going to play a bit safe. But if they knew, do you think they would try to put even more pressure over here on those cores? Or is that too
this
risky?
is the way to do
They're
it.
too calm and
It's
collected.
pretty safe. I mean, they just got a big net worth advantage. It's going to make the map positioning better for the rest of the game.
I feel like
they're
Fnatic
so
would,
happy.
though. Like, the way that they're so aggressive, the way that they play, they'll be like, let's go.
And in some ways, I would argue that even if LGD knows they have buyback, it's safer to take their racks, right? Because you're less out of position. When they buy back, you can more easily escape from the enemy's base, and they don't have Chronosphere Exo anyway, so if they get caught, they're like, they really don't want to fight. So this is just a safer move. Get big gold advantage now. That was like a 15k gold swing from the advantage that Fnatic has,
insane.
and now they're playing from behind without any defensive items other than the Wind Waker.
They're out for blood again. Death and Schwan looking for anyone that they could possibly find. It looks like they're going to be able to just barely teleport away. Won't be able to find them this time around as they check the tree line.
Ooh, Spell Prism, very good for Death Prophet if she wants it. But maybe going to go to somebody else instead, like Vasa's Void or Invoker, who would love to have lower cooldown as Refresh Orb and Exorcism, or as Cataclysms.
Double damage now on Void. His Chronosphere is up again. He's going to walk right into death here.
Man really doesn't like his level 10 talent. Thinks it's so bad that he'd get literally anything else over it. Looking for his opening with the Scotty. If he jumps on the right hero, he's got pretty decent damage, some good stun lock, and the anti-healing. And now it's their turn to get Roshan with the Axe coming up.
Ooh.
Who's going to get it? You know, this is the perfect time for a pause, actually. We can
This
talk about
is.
who's going to get this free Axe now. Look at this. Why queuing up his Ag Scepter? He wants an Axe right now. There's a free one in the Roshan.
Who
Is it
doesn't
going
want
to
an
be
Ags?
his, or are they going to give it to Faces Void to give him that Time Walk Bash?
That's also not bad either.
It's quite good on Winter Wyvern too with his Orchid, but I don't know. It's quite
I think
good on
Ame.
Bane.
I don't know. I think Ame gets this.
It's going to increase his buyback cooldown though, or his buyback cost. Do you truly? Yes, he wants that. All right. Well, okay.
Oh, it's a joy to cast with you, Purge.
The Bane Axe is pretty sick, I gotta say.
It's
It's really cool. And he's got BKB also, so. Protected it first, and now waiting to see what he wants to do with it. Alright, 39 minutes into the game here, getting those tier 4 items now. See if we get any other cool ones. Decent ones. Flicker.
I mean, Flicker is always excellent in my opinion. I like it.
Yes, pretty solid this game as well against like Void and stuff. You can get some separation. Obviously, if you get Chronosphere, not going to do anything. But
No.
if he just chases after you like it did in the last fight, because DJ doesn't have any defensive items, he actually bought a Midas. Because now they're like, all right, we're going late, is what he's thinking. That seems a little weird to me. Because, okay, sure, if you have confidence that this game's going to go on for another 20 minutes, Midas is great here. But it's like the same cost as a Force Staff. Maybe you could force yourself or an ally out before they get Chronosphere.
No, dude, it's next level play. They're going to go for a Wind Waker over on the Ogre. He's going to get that multicast. He's just going to Wind Waker his entire team. He's going to win. He's going to save his whole team.
But if the game goes on for 10 minutes, your Midas is going to be free on Ogre. It's a really, it's a good hero for it. Ooh, they're catching it. Maybe jabs on the right side.
Oh!
He scanned for it too, but it was nighttime. He just couldn't see him until it was too late. All right, Raven still farmed.
14k net worth lead right now going to the side of PSG.
How is Void top net worth right now? What the hell happened? I just like I look away for 10 minutes. And
It's Ame, dude.
it's the eggs. The eggs that he gave him.
Give me those
It's like-
fantasy
it's like-
points,
it's-
Ame.
it's
Let's
6K net
go.
worth. 6K net worth right there. He's fishing.
He is indeed fishing. They haven't
Tries to
hard
toss it
committed
back.
just yet.
Taps.
Goes forward, goes backwards.
Jabs has toss requires no target. He's trying to throw him so deep that he can't escape. With that said, he's got Ags, so if
He's
he's
got
got
a
the
refresher.
he could jump back. Yeah, he could also refresher too. So 2 refreshers now. 1 on Void, 1 on Invoker. Let's see how many die.
Death taking a lot of damage. But again, just flirting back and forth, not a hard committal yet. The Exorcism will probably make the opening as they're going to go right after Death. They do get a really nice stun off to right away. Oh my god! Oh, it's just over like that. All of a sudden, the Aegis pop. He's got to come right back up again, and he's got to find this opening. He's got to find himself a Chronosphere. He does manage to find it over here onto the Luna. There's going to be Cataclysm coming in hot. He's got a lot of damage. Is going to be enough. It looks like yes, they'll be able to take down Raven. Immediately immediate buyback. Second Chronosphere comes out, and there's just massive buybacks coming out. They're just wiping them. Everyone's buying back over on the side of
Good
Fnatic.
grip.
They get a grip over on Chuen. They do manage to take down Y, but the rest of PSG LGD, they're happy. They forced out 4 buybacks. Oh, and they might be getting themselves a little something extra, a little goodie bag here, because they're just going to tip away over onto this Death Prophet. She's silenced, and there's just so much damage. It's buying a lot of time while this is going on, but eventually... Oh, this could potentially jabs.
He's got a chase, wants to prevent him from getting out. He's got a TP ready, so all he's got to do is jump pretty far.
He's good now.
Jab's ready to teleport in there. Instead, doesn't catch him, which is totally fine. Cost him a lot of buybacks for that fight, but that was refresher orbs and big ultis on the LGD side. So if Fnatic can cross the map right now and get at least a Rax, it would be decent. More likely, they're going to force a buyback, but without those cooldowns, maybe they will be too scared to engage. We'll see what ends up happening. But unfortunately, they weren't able to save Raven in the fight. That was the big thing. When the Chronos came out, I was like, who's caught? Ogre, it's Luna. Okay, obviously you use the Luna, but Jabs couldn't quite get the angle. I think his blink might have been down, or he tried to get close in time, but he got caught in the Chronosphere, didn't get the Wind Waker off, so wasn't able to protect Raven, unfortunately.
You can feel the bloodthirstiness coming out now from the side of Fnatic. They've already started crossing the river. They're trying to get into position.
And
they need to use this cooldown to their advantage right now.
Yeah, they really do want to use it. 40 seconds for Chrono, 54 for a refresher on Void, so they don't have a lot of time, but again, this is the downside of being behind on Rax and map position. It's like when you do get some advantage, you got to cross so far, and you didn't kill enough heroes, and it took a little too long to kill Death Prophet maybe as a result. By the time you get there, she's 30 seconds away, and yeah, they don't even have to buy back on LGD. But Fnatic does have great map positioning. They got some wards down, but now that the spells are almost off, they're going to retreat again, it looks like.
PSG LGD now, they're feeling confident, they're feeling aggressive, they go for a smoke. Death hiding in the tree line, as is DJ. Trying to get as much information as possible, but they don't see them. Looks like they're going maybe for a wraparound play. You can see some pings coming out.
Putting a ward down by Roche, that one will be useful later on, or just for now, spotting heroes as they might approach. There knows the tornado, that'll give them information about where LGD is playing. But it's better for Fnatic to stay over here by the tri-camp. You can cut the mid wave and the bot wave, and those are the two Raxes that they're struggling in anyway. So it's going to help them make sure that LGD can't cross the map very confidently. It's going to force LGD to play the opposite side of the map, and it's going to make it potentially easy for Fnatic to hit some buildings. Because right now their creep wave's about to approach. They could go hit buildings mid if they feel confident knowing where LGD is. Like Ame's showing top right now, for example. So eventually they're going to have to go back, or they can threaten some split push, and let's see what they choose. One TP coming back. I think that got spotted by Nothing to Say. But yeah, everybody on Fnatic now backing up. Except for Chuen.
You've got to be feeling a little bit nervous right now, Fnatic, right? You just expended 4 different buybacks.
Yeah.
If you get caught out again, that could just very easily be the end of the game.
Oh yeah, it's the end. If 2 cores die before getting any response kills, yeah, the game's over. So it's all about the initiation, the vision, reading the map, where your opponents are putting their heroes. Are they fully together? And frankly, that doesn't even matter much. You just need a Chronosphere and some global spells. So
look how fast John's just like nope, 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 nope.
Yep. He
pops
did
that haster and says like, yeah, no.
He saved his recipe though, so that's good. He was about to buy a play mill. So gotta keep your Shivas. They don't quite have one yet. Attack speed reduction against Void would be nice.
Silence immediately. Chuen getting found again here. Needs to be careful with this tornado. It's a little bit off the mark.
And Raven ended up selling his boots and bought an Aeon Disc, which is the right choice. It's all about surviving.
It's all about that burst.
If that pops before the Cataclysm hits, he takes 0 damage for that 2.5 second window. It's going to give him a second way to cover himself, basically. But
I'm dead.
I think if they hit at the same time, though, he might just instantly die. I'm not 100% sure. Because it's 2 sources of Cataclysm damage, so we'll see what happens, potentially. Like, if you're full, let's say you have 8 HP, but you're full. Right. Is your Aeon Disc going to proc, or are you just going to die? You probably die. Or maybe, that's a bad example. Let's say if you have 2,000 HP, but you're full, and each Cataclysm does, like, 1,200 damage. Is the first one going to proc your Aeon Disc, or do they hit the exact same time? I'm not sure. We'll find out. It could matter. But on paper, Aeon Disc is like one of the only solutions other than the expensive Wind Waker. Oh, and we have a new one. Timbersaw bought one too. So they just got to stay spread out and pray that Faces Void did not get Chronosphere AoE, which he did not. That's good. Probably wasn't a bad idea to skip it, but like, you know, Chronosphere AoE when you have Cataclysm is real good.
Aeon just picked up now for the Winter Wyvern. We're reaching that state of the game where it's all about who can outlast each other, who can survive the longest so you can get out the damage needed. And look at this movement coming out. The Hex immediately, Ame finding death. Aeon just immediately proccing over here to throw out the Lotus. He's going to have to use that Yule's by a little bit more time rather than the Windbreaker that he just picked up, but there's too much damage. The Fear on top of that.
Oh, the bash!
He's not going to be able to do it! He's got 1 more second till he comes up. No, that is a dead death. Over on the back line, Chuen trying to poke, trying to get anything. The Chronosphere does come out, though. He has the BKB, so no, that's just too much damage. Chuen will fall. Buyback now. He's the only one over on the side of Fnatic with that buyback. Exorcism has been used. Try to post him up. Raven, need to be careful. The BKB follows up again, but they have the Wind Waker. They're going to wait very patiently. Stun, Hex, follow up. Is this the end? It's the end of Raven! And they've got plenty of damage on the other side here as Chuen is not looking healthy. He will fall. The GG indeed gets called. PSG waiting so patiently.
That was incredible play by LGD as a whole. They just completely came back after that one mistake, and as a result, slowly collect advantage and go for those late game win conditions. And it's so scary playing against that. It's like if you lose that one fight, you're gonna have a bad time. But wow, absolutely incredible game for LGD. I thought Fnatic was gonna be able to do it. They exerted their influence so well. But man, what a game. Good for LGD.
Definitely, it's one of those studies where, again, we talk about Fnatic, how aggressive they are. They have a very aggressive draft. Things are looking good, but they just, again, you're at Ti10. You're against the best teams. Yeah. So if you make even the tiniest little bit of a mistake, PSG LGD especially is going to take advantage of that.
They are, and it's a tough reality to have because there's so many decisions in Dota, and one like that can cost you so much because it's not just you, it's your team trying to retreat as well. But that did it. So LGD takes game 1.
All right. Well, of course, this is a best-of-2 series, so when we come back, we'll have the second game, and we'll see if Fnatic is able to come back swinging. Welcome back, everyone. We have game number 2 of Fnatic versus PSG LGD, and PSG LGD giving us a lesson in patience. And that last game where Fnatic was looking very, very strong, they had the command, they had the lead, but a couple little mistakes ended up giving PSG LGD the momentum that they needed to get back in the game and win it.
Yeah, and from the start of the draft, it seemed very obvious that they've got the Chronosphere, they've got the Cataclysm. When it comes, it's always very, very hard to deal with. But Fnatic was so far ahead, I was like, I just don't know if it's going to come to a point where it's not going to matter as much, where like their cores had so many items ahead that it's like they've got this big padding of like 500, 800 extra HP more than normal. So I was like, I think they're going to be able to survive through this. I mean, the Tiny freaking spent almost 8,000 gold to get a Eul's just to save one of his cores. They got the items, but it was that moment when they went high ground mid, they poked a little bit too deep on Quap. Quap dies, and it's like their ability to turn fights and get kills when they get ran down wasn't there, and they lost too many heroes. And then all of a sudden LGD was back in net worth, and then it was like, oh, now we're really vulnerable to Cataclysm because they've caught up a lot in damage. So just a little mistake led to this like place where PSG LGD could like play normally and abuse their strat, and they got to do it. They did it very well. So good for them. A little different this game, though. AA Lycan banned again, and then there's the Monkey King and the Tiny banned in the first phase. Tiny was pretty instrumental in the first game. Actually, he played really impressed me on the 4. Tiny, not that it's not bad, it's good. We know it's good, but carry Tiny has been stronger. So they showed us like, guys, we can play support Tiny. It works too. So
well, that's the problem, right? The problem with a lot of these heroes currently in Dota 2 is the fact that you can move them into so many positions right now, which I think I love that about the past. I love that we have that kind of freedom. But definitely, you know, the fact that you can move Tiny, he can be in that core position, he can be in the mid position, he can be in the off lane, he can be in any of them. Probably not a Tiny 5. I don't think that's necessarily that good. But you know, you have that, and you've been seeing it with Weaver now, been seeing it with Monkey King. Definitely very, very strong. Magnus even. You can see Magnus in the mid, you can see him in the safe lane. I think Smail's been running that. And you can also run him off lane in support. It's a very fun patch, but like look at the size of these two lads. These are some very, very big Dota 2 heroes. And
two thick boys.
Two thick boys, for sure. And it's also going to discourage, you know, if they decide to try to go for any sort of tri-lanes, they're going to have to be very aware on the side of Fnatic that they don't have too many of these stacked camps for him to get all the extra. But you can see what the priority is right now. They picked up Twen's Earth Spirit. He does marvelous things on this hero. Again, very, very...
Storm Spirit, you mean?
Yes.
You said Earth Spirit.
Oh my god, did I?
Yep. Gotta be there to slip it in, otherwise everyone in chat's like, oh god, correct
her.
God. That's my job, guys.
Thank you, yes.
Now Storm is, what I think is really interesting, Storm's been pretty effective in this patch by all means, but what I think is most interesting is that they didn't pair the IO with somebody in the first phase. They're like leaving it open, you know? And because IO is such a good hero, this almost always is like, forces your opponent to be like, alright, ban 3 carries that are good with IO. So, assuming that that doesn't destroy your strategy, that like you're like, it's okay, we can pick like the 4th best IO pairing or something like that. If you're cool with that, it kind of like feels like it opens up the rest of your draft a little bit. At least protects the picks that you might want to go for, in my mind. But Sven IO would have been really solid too, I gotta say. So.
Well, it's next level drafting, right? Because you're sitting there, you're like, they have an IO. What are they going to pick? And instead of, you know, targeting maybe some of the other heroes that they have from their notes, their research, whatever, they're like, okay, what don't we want to play with? What is going to pair perfectly with it? And is it that big of a priority as well? It kind of throws a little, I don't say it's a huge hiccup, because obviously you have to plan for these things as part of drafting, but definitely throws a little something in there where you're just like, oh, we weren't prepared for this just yet.
Yeah. And Storm is pretty effective against Magnus and ET in a lot of ways. Like, if you get skewered back under tower, assuming you're like level 6 on Storm or whatever, then it's not a big deal. And you can easily pick off Elder Titan in mid and late game, because ET might have like a defensive item, like a Glimmer or a Force Staff, but as long as you bring a Dust with, you can just always kill him on the back of the fight. You're not likely to get stomped. Getting RP'd is a little bit tough, but even if you like hit the back of the fight and start slapping Magnus, don't let him use a Blink Dagger, then things can be good for your team fight outcomes anyways. So Disruptor is the pick for LGD, though. That's going to give them good solutions against Storm Spirit. You can do Glimpse combos with Static Storm if IO relocates, you're like, all right, here's the bomb. You just drop it right there on that relocate spot. That can buy you some time as well. And once you relocate, you can also just send back the carry.
Give 'em the
or
glimpse.
send back the IO as well so you can kill the carry. So there's cool things you can do with Disruptor. I cannot wait to see how that works. With that said, though, IO is still pretty effective as a hero, as just like a heal bot. So, and he could play less like global potentially, or not have to worry about that as much. Or you could just say, like, I'm saving relocates to save my team. And, you know, a lot of cases Disruptor might have used Glimpse at that point, or he'll save it for that exact moment if they know the momentum's good. So I'm sure LGD will use it really well, but I'm excited to see how well it works because I do like playing some Disruptor, I gotta say.
It'll definitely be interesting. I like when you have the option too, right? When two people show up and you're like, which one do I want to murder? I'm going to send this one back, or I'm going to send this one. And in some cases, you know, it might just be more beneficial just to send the IO because perhaps the rest of the whole team's there. Perhaps they bait it. You get these next level kind of strategies that are going on where, you know, you can really play to your advantage because they don't have that information or you're smoked up or whatnot. Which is very cool. Very cool indeed. I was hoping, I know that the Faceless Void got banned out. I like the Thunderdome. I always enjoy that, but...
Drop a Disrupt ulti on a Chronosphere?
Yeah, that's the Thunderdome, dude.
Sounds really like a big waste of disable to me. You could have
Does damage.
9 seconds of disable, and so you're right, it does do damage.
Dude. Sometimes in the early game, that's
Look,
all you got. Sometimes all you have is a Witch Doctor.
If you're level 15 Disrupt and you got that plus 2 seconds Static Storm cooldown, sure, slap it down, because then like when Chrono ends, you still have like 4 seconds of big old damage to set. But early game, Thunderdome, good meme, bad play, generally.
Okay, what about if you have a Mars and you're trying to do the arena and that?
Yeah,
well?
I'm down to see the Thunderdome that
more?
way.
Is
Yeah,
that more
absolutely, because
preferable?
they can cast spells in there. They can do stuff in
You
there.
can cast spells into a Chrono as well. You just have to be on the outside of it.
No, I'm saying like if Void Chrono somebody and Void's your friend, you do not want to Static Storm the Chrono. That's bad move. That's bad move. Unless, like I said, it lasts for like 7 seconds. Because it's like the overlap isn't a big deal. You're like, oh, I'm doing damage, and they'll still be disabled afterwards for a couple seconds. That's all.
This is very exciting, guys. We now know how to trigger Purge in every single one of his pubs. If you are playing Disruptor and there's a Faceless Void, do it.
Purge, is it worth it to spend 100 mana just to do 75 magic damage to somebody? No. Use that nuke and attack them 3 times, guys. That's how you win lanes. Come on.
PSG
That's how you get to TI if you're perfect. They still get the IO Gyro combo. We did see it successfully yesterday by LGD.
Oh,
but I mentioned it to somebody else, and they're like, yeah, that's the only time IO Gyro won all day. So I think that's why they left it through. But was it LGD? No, it was Elephant. I think Elephant was the one that played it.
Yes.
So it worked good there. Tinker is the pick for LGD, though. That is, I hear that's had pretty decent success. I'd be slightly worried about a Pango as a Tinker, but you know, you've got tools. Just blink away, make him like overextend, chase you. Then even if he does catch up to you, he's so far from the rest of his team. He's just like locking down one guy. Don't know where Pango will be yet. Could be a 3, could be a 4, could be a 5. Pretty flexible there on that hero. But yeah, Tinkers have shied away a little bit from like the Shiva's builds from what I've seen. They go a lot of Ags.
All right, well, I do my homework, right? So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the fact that FaithBN plays a lot of Magnus in his pubs currently.
Okay.
And then on top of that, you have, of course, the Pangolier, and it looks like it might be a twin Pangolier. No, never mind. There's a Storm Spirit. I lied. Just kidding. That's probably a most likely a death, if I had to guess.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, it's a pretty good Pango game, I would say. You have to be a little bit careful. Like, Pango is a little countered by Disruptor in that, like, once you jump to escape, like, you can always glimpse back. But as long as he gets his ulti off, he's going to have a great time running through and messing with Disruptor and Elder Titan and potentially Tinker in team fights. So having, like, Pango and Storm just makes me feel kind of okay about playing against Tinker. They have some tools to deal with him, basically, that can gap close. But as long as Tinker's playing wisely and doesn't get caught in those easy goes, makes him work for it, then it can be fine. And they go for a Slardar, so it's going to be Slardar IO probably.
Yeah, I would think that Death is probably going to be playing that Slardar. Also, just, you know, we see this Tinker, and I know Leon Arthur has been, like, praising the Nothing to Say Tinker. He's like, it's happening, it's happening. It's going to be coming to all of these games soon, so should be very excited to watch that, because apparently he is very good with this hero.
I believe that, yes. I do like Slardar this game, though. There aren't that many disables on the LGD side. Well, that's not exactly true, but there's not, like, easy, cheap ones. Like, if Slardar runs at you, how do you react to it for LGD? You can't just be like, okay, you can glimpse, but that's kind of like expensive. It's a little bit slow sometimes. Sometimes he like runs for it, gets a stun off first. I mean, a skill expensive. If you have like an Earth Spike or a Hex or
Right.
like a
You can
Frostbite,
interrupt it.
you throw it on them, you know, and then everyone keeps walking. But it's not super easy for LGD to throw that right now. So if Slardar is able to run at them and do a decent job, get a little tanky here, it's going to be a little hard for LGD to stop the run at you that's happening with the Fnatic lineups very clearly. But TB's a good way to do it. He's going to do a ton of damage. He can throw out the Conjure. He can do Reflection on them. If he gets a little bit low but survives, he's going to go for a Sunder, which is going to be really effective for his hero. So I think that's a great pickup. And it's also going to allow him to just kind of like farm super fast all the time.
That's
Not much
extra
you can do about
armor,
it.
too, when you're up against something like a Slardar that's
That's
going to
true.
be reducing it. So it seems to fit fairly well. I know this is a hero that Ame likes to play.
Yeah, it should be good in lane.
And then when you also have that steroid coming out from Faith Bien, who's going to be able to go and throw out that Empower. So he's going to farm even faster than usual. Whereas it's a little, I mean, a Gyrocopter does take, you know, he farms very, very fast. But
He does.
I think at this point, like, it's going to be a huge problem for Fnatic if this Terrorblade starts to overtake it.
For sure, yeah, because especially once he gets like Scotty territory, then you're getting slow on a ranged hero. And like already Io's supposed to heal you, so it's like Scotty is like the terrifying moment for Fnatic. If they're not like ahead like they were last game with net worth, then Terrorblade being like equal or slightly higher farm is going to feel pretty dangerous. It does still have an Io to back him up, so you know technically any gyro is going to be stronger with Io.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a little bit scary. The Terrorblade matchup looks pretty solid to me. But with that said, they have great dive team fight in the early game for Fnatic. On the LGD side, their team fight can be good, but it's a little bit hard to land their disables. So ideally, they want to be the ones to initiate, I would say. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is Jinq is playing Elder Titan 4, so he's going to have more farm priority. I feel like almost every ET I've seen is a 5, so maybe that'll be a bit different as well.
What do you think we're going to see like built differently than if he's allowed to have a bit of that farm?
If he is built a little differently as a 4, possibly some like Ags build, he's going to have a defensive item most likely, something like that. Therefore, he won't have to worry as much about like Storm Spirit or the other heroes. So I assume that's where they're going on ET right now. Ags, defensive item, something like that. Jinq breaks smoke here. Did have an, oh, that was kind of cool actually. Oh, that was really cool what they just did. He had 2 observer wards on his hero. So as he got to the mid lane, when he got clicked on by his enemies, they're like, oh, he's still got an observer ward. He definitely didn't place one just now. So you can like, assuming, I mean, they might check like the other side, but that was a really cool way to do it.
You can tell we're support players. We really get excited about these things.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And we're getting a big skirmish here. DJ taking plenty of damage. Jinq though, turning right back around. Get another crush out here from Death. Let's have that nice amount of mana coming from Jabs. Jabs just going to tether over to DJ. It's already got the headdress online, so that was a big punch. You can hear the crowd right now. You can hear them.
We're getting cheers on both sides this time.
We had it the other game too.
It was like so one-sided for Fnatic for the early game at least.
Of course, because Fnatic was winning.
I guess so, yeah. All right.
Do you cheer like that loud when your team is losing, Purge?
I mean, it happens sometimes.
It does indeed happen, but
Ooh, Ame
this is
in trouble.
looking scary. There's plenty of heroes here. Ame trying to survive just a bit longer. Now he is going to be the first blood going over to Death, and Death will take plenty of damage, but not enough to actually fall. Death gave them a lot of problems last time. I don't think they wanted it to start off like this again.
Yeah, and not a terrible situation to be in for Death either. Yeah, his HP's low, but his support pairing is an IO, so it's like the perfect situation to get him back up full as fast as possible. But they're going to have to deal with Jinq as well. He's running in to get more slaps in.
Death is sitting very low. I mean, I know that Jabs is able to provide some of that regen, but does have to be a bit careful with the amount of damage coming out.
Raven getting skewered back on the bot lane to take a little pressure, but he'll be relatively fine. DJ's got lots of regen. There's the salve popped. So far, so good. We're definitely going to see some kills in this game, let me tell you.
I am very much looking forward to that. Twin is having a miserable time over in that mid lane, I swear. He's farming all right, but again, you're playing against Tinker. Tinker's got so much burst damage.
And the hardest thing is just that he's going to laser you when you go for last hits. It's so annoying to play against. But Stormster does have a way to last hit with Static Remnant, so he's got options. And Static Remnant's pretty mana inexpensive. But the other issue is that Tinker also has more attack range by a little bit. So it just becomes a little annoying by all means to lane against. He's got to get to his bottle, and then he's got to start getting some runes. Otherwise, nothing to say is going to out-harass him generally.
Is this a situation where you kind of want to be making stacks for your Storm off to the side because you know he's going to suffer?
It can definitely help, absolutely, but it seems like the supports are going to be very busy. Like, IO can't easily go do stacks because he's not going to buy boots. He does have pretty decent base movement speed at 320, so he can go do it, but if he's stacking, it's Ancients and large camp, which isn't the best. Ideally, you stack, like, a different side of the map. And again, they're Radiant. Radiant doesn't double stack nearly as easily as the Dire can, so if it was like a Dire Storm, I would definitely agree with you, but Radiant Storm, probably not.
Okay. Well, lots of harass going back and forth, but it's slowing down just a little bit. Huchuan sitting so very low. Is forced to use that bottle charge.
Just missing some last hits here and there due to the laser. He's not that far behind, though.
Yeah.
10-4 versus 9-1. Disruptor's coming, though, but he doesn't have...
Oh, he's got the glimpse! Oh, Chuan. Seeing some of those body blocks coming out from Y. That is
sick.
A dead Chuan.
I was like, hey, he doesn't have Thunderstrike. What's this doing? But he wasn't ready to skill, grabs the glimpse when he was guaranteed in range, and he picks up a really big kill. What a cool rotation. It's not often you see that.
No, it's not usually that you see them rotate for the water runes. Usually it's more for those action runes.
But that's something they could prep, you know? It's like, nothing to say, lane control. The Storm was lower. He goes to the closer rune, which is the top one typically. And then because of that, they know Storm's going to go bottom. He's like, he's going bottom. We can maybe do that like cheeky glimpse gank that we do sometimes, you know? If you plan that stuff and he intentionally goes top for that reason, yeah, those are like little ganks that are maybe a little unique, but super effective. Oh, great deny from nothing to say on the mid ward as well, so it doesn't even get that goal advantage.
Things are going very good for nothing to say here. We're sitting at 14 and 7 CS currently, as the Storm is sitting at 11 and 1. About what we expect, though.
Yep.
Drag back. Oh, Chuan's making some plays here.
He's out of spells.
This is looking pretty good now. Looks like Storm might be able to get the revenge kill. They need maybe one more hit. Nobody bottles. He's got enough to stay alive, and these rockets are coming in hot over Chuan. Oh.
Level 3 heat-seeking missile. He skills it up and goes for the kill. Little too much damage. It looked like Chuan was going to be able to get that one, but it was just too much damage. Now he might be able to get both water runes here with Storm come up in 5 seconds. Let's see if he's got enough time.
They've already made a rotation.
Yeah,
though.
they moved jabs over.
They sent jabs over to ensure.
Which is good, because if he got another 2 bottle charges, Tinker's
Yes.
close to full HP, and at least this is going to give Chuan you know, some advantage here. But and that was kind of cool too. Jabs also waited the extra 5 seconds, so nothing to say has to walk there instead of doing something else efficient. So just a little bit of an anti-play that he does by sitting around.
Q is also stacking over on the side there, getting that extra bonus damage, making sure he's got stacks.
DJ bottom, taking some damage.
Yep, he is.
I love doing those like double stacks as a small camp hero, but then like you're like, oh wait, this offlaner has an insane amount of AoE.
Xinqiu's looking a little
Cool,
scared
they
here. Another hit should do the trick jabs. We'll clean up on Xinqiu.
Okay. This is a really nice thing about having IO as a pairing, is that Slaughter doesn't have to get Guardian Sprint until much later, so he can actually like get a lot of points of Bash the Deep. It doubles the damage between level 1 and 2, and he's still Slithering Crush. Plus he's got extra mana, so he can just crush all the time. That's a very strong dual lane, honestly. And you farm quite fast right now as Slardar on creeps, because you get double the bash damage. Puts you in a good place. But with that said, Terrorblade's still last hitting great. 31 and 10. Slaughter's down at 23. So pretty safe to say that LGD is getting more gold out of their lanes.
We talked about the idea that you want this Terrorblade not to be ahead, because a Gyrocopter is quite powerful. Hold that thought. Why? Ghosty throws the cage out, but he's taking a lot of damage here from the tower, so.
DJ threat TPing, didn't have mana, but he got him spooked. Is this missile gonna hit? It will.
Ooh.
Oh, they put the ward behind the tower for this reason. That's insane. He knows about it now. That was really costly, actually. And now Y's gonna move over. He put the sentry down, trying to find it.
Calculated, going right back in again. Another missile, but again, they have that bounty rune. They'll be able to regen on the Storm, and DJ grabbing his own regen rune.
Okay, and the sentry's also to deward the small camp too, which just was blocked earlier. So when he placed the observer ward, he also blocked the small camp. So a lot of stuff slowing him down here, but tries to get there to steal the bounty rune to limit his catch up here so that he can jungle, but gets punished for it, and that's gonna be great for Fnatic.
Aggression in this top lane. They're chasing after Shinkyu again. Bashes aplenty here. They're just running down, man. Jabs is just really hammering home those high fives. This is yet another kill for Jabs. Jabs is 3-0-1 right now. How often do you see this IO?
Well, good for him. That's all I gotta say. That's more kills than he's supposed to have, certainly. But hey, this is their lack of disables. It's a failing in their lineup, kind of similar to like the damage issues that they had last game. It provides them a weakness. It doesn't mean their draft is bad necessarily, but this is something that they should exploit on Fnatic right now. They have to pressure this lane. They force the carry out. It's a TB. He doesn't care much. But as long as they keep killing Jinkyu, at least it doesn't let Jinkyu get levels to catch up. But they're going to dive. Top.
They are
They
starting
changed mind.
man, you are just debating us.
Dude, they were going
every time.
They were running
oh
at him.
my god, he's
they were
taking
running at
damage. JJ, quick, go look. And he's just like, yep, he took damage, Purge. He's not dead yet.
Tinker was like half HP. He was amp damage. He had no mana. And they're sprinting at him with Slaughter. Like, come on, that looked like a dive. It looked like a dive.
It
Yeah,
looks like
see,
one, but
Jabs
it
agrees
wasn't
with
one.
me, I think. Man, they're gonna get a holy locket so fast. Actually, he's like 800 gold away from it. It's at 7 minutes. It's not gonna be long. It's like, I don't know, that's got to be a record. We'll
Bottom lane, they're gonna try to go in for the fight. 2N jumping forward. Oh my goodness, the damage though that came out from FaZe as they take down DJ. They'll turn back around. They get the kill on Chud. Why though? Sitting very low. He'll be the next one to fall. Yet another kill for Jabs.
Okay, and this is why actually he's leveling up spirits. Most IOs just do tether and overcharge as their combo. But, I mean, if you're pairing, normally you pair with, like, your hard carry, and you sit with them a lot, and you're giving them attack speed and regen and stuff. Death doesn't necessarily need that as a Slardar in the lane. So instead, if he just combos...
Oh, he cancels the TP. He knows. He's like, maybe I can survive this. No, you can't survive. Nothing to say.
Unfortunate. I don't think he knew Jinkyu was there, but basically Jabs is able to do a lot more damage in ganks because he's not like the IO pairing. They picked IO and it's still going to be good, but like right now, just having more damage is going to be more effective, and it's helping him because he's almost got his holy locket. About 500 gold left to go.
I'd be interested to know if that's the new record for how fast the Holy Rocket gets picked up. The Chuan he's got that big zip, so they're not going to be able to quite close the gap, but they have the vision, like we said, so we'll see some more of these little rockets. Going to dodge it.
He needed to do that. He's just taking too much damage here.
It's hard. It's a lot of burst.
It's not that much. It doesn't cost much for nothing to say to throw like 2 rockets because he's just going to TP back home anyways. He's got his Blink Dagger. He's 4-0-1. He's doing great right now. He also got the Fairy Trinket, the Glory item on Tinker, because he's going to be able to make his mana pool go so much farther as a result. Now he just shows up where he needs to be. Faith Beyond going a bit of a different build. Helm of the Dominator on Magnus. Not the most common.
No.
But it's going to make it easier for him to pressure towers, to spot enemy heroes, that kind of thing. It's not terrible. It's just a generic good item for a lot of offlane heroes anyways.
I am concerned. When I look at Death and Jabs up there, we're going to have the, I believe the Hood of Defiance was just completed. And then you have a Holy Locket. They're just going to become a menace all over the map. Although, oh, FaZe was looking for it. Couldn't quite grab him in time.
I guess that's the one downside of LGD is that before Terrorblade gets on the map, they do not have good tower pushers. And this might be one reason that Magnus wants to be Helm of the Overlord. Like, Magnus is okay, or Dominator, sorry, because he kills creepways fine. But having the Hellbear Smasher just amplifies everything so much. Attack speed, that kind of thing. So it's going to make it easier for them to kill towers and scout heroes and that kind of stuff. But gold, it's even. It's even right now. Little advantage for the PSG LGD cores, but the IO support's doing really good on Fnatic's side, so in some ways a little better.
Well, the new objective appears to be this middle tower here for Fnatic. You can see Chuan trying to get into position. He's going to be able to go draw some of these creeps away.
That's smart to do it like this.
It's the safer way to do it.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Got to keep them away from where the bad guys are going to stand. Drag them away, get the last hits, that's going to put the pressure, and then you can go back to doing what you're doing, which is going to jungle instead.
They've definitely set up camp within their jungle, so. PSG, though, finding this opening. They do have the Hellbear creep, like we talked about, so they're going to put some pressure on the mid lane. You can see why he's waiting. He's cheeky. He's thinking, oh, come on, guys. Anybody, please TP in over here. But
all right, Locket's on the way. Probably not going to be a record because some people have been playing IO3 lately, so somebody gets last hits is probably more farmed at this point than Jabs is. most likely. But for support, it's really excellent timing. And that's going to make it easier for Jabs to play just really aggressive top. And Jabs just, or for Death to play aggressive top. And Jabs doesn't necessarily even have to show. He can just be in the area. So it's going to make it a little bit more unpredictable for PSG LGD on who to engage on.
Got the smoke play over on the side of Fnatic.
Radiant are scanning.
We'll go for a smoke play on the side of PSG LGD too. They've got 4 of them. Gonna roll on forward. That defense matrix is ridiculous looking. Nothing like a giant hamster ball.
They want to kill Terrorblade with the smoke on Storm and Pangolier. They've got the rolling boulder, but or rolling thunder. They're going to give up on it though.
They'll find themselves jabs over here.
Oh yeah.
This would be a nice hit. They'll go right back with the glimpse, and that's his dominating streak.
That part's good. That's a lot of gold for the dominating streak. It's the one downside of doing really good on support. It's like you're probably going to die eventually, and now you just gave extra gold to the enemy mid player. Ooh, that feels bad.
Yeah, especially when it's a Tinker.
Yeah, kind of scary. And with that death, now whoever was going to tank the mid tower isn't going to be able to be saved. It's a rough one to lose the IO there, but hey, Death, despite buying that hood, has almost got his Blink Dagger now, so his net worth has been pretty high. The person suffering the most was certainly Storm Spirit. That early lane pressure, that gank by Disruptor that did a lot. There's a meta being used bottom, but Storm
meta.
is out. It's probably just that Ami was planning to use it anyways to farm, and if Storm's here, he might as well, you know, put some pressure on. Because if he loses all of his illusions without damaging Storm much, then it just makes it like he could potentially die if somebody's there. You know, it's just a little safer.
I think it's fine too. He's right around creeps. It's not like a lot of it's going to go to waste even if the Storm disappears. You know, it just might have been safer than to be sorry. So yeah, he'll just continue farming. We do have a Blink Dagger picked up now for the Slardar.
Oh, it's done. So with
Coming
this,
out right now.
It'll be a little bit easier to be aggressive now, which he needs. Gyro's going for the flat cannon stat build with the health talent. So he didn't go for flat cannon 8 range, which is pretty common. But this is going to be the tankiest way to be right now. Rocket Barrage obviously is insane damage output, but generally if the Gyro goes that build, he just kind of suffers like he's going to suffer right now.
Raven, Raven, Raven. You have so many friends here to welcome you. They go for the split, not quite on the mark, but that sleep off by some time, and that's a kill for Faith Beyond.
He just got red.
They're going to try to go back in on nothing to say.
They don't see him.
They don't know. Well, they see him now. They will just go after this Tinker. I'm surprised that... oh, no, it is. Never mind. I was like, I'm surprised that it wasn't Jabs got it. I didn't hear the song right away.
He was just holding it and he's too excited. Oh, what a nice kill. Good for him. And he's going to go back towards the mid lane with that. So that's going to get him even closer to max. So here's that gank on Raven.
Death, though, too. Top lane getting chased by Faithion. They get the sleep off. They've got the stomp on the Centaur. Maybe? No. They're going to back off. Decide it's not worth their time.
And this is a nice thing, again, about being tanky as an offlaner. Very similar to what he did last game as the Timber Saw. He just wants to play aggressive. He wants his opponents to fight into him. And as long as he's balancing the risk decently well, with Io potentially being behind him, it just forces a lot of rotations. But with that said, Terrorblade's still farming super fast as expected. Terrorblade 0-1 and 0. Just died that one time in the laning stage, but he set creeps so effectively that it really meant nothing at this point. And because he matches up well against Gyrocopter later on in the game, I think this looks pretty good for LGD right now.
I think it's firmly within their control at this moment because they're just taking their time. They're realizing, okay, we're having all this space. Going to be able to get Ame to get what he needs. They haven't shut him down like they had last time. They really haven't bothered him hardly at all. You saw one little engagement, like other than the laning stage, one engagement where Chuen shows up. Chuen immediately is kind of like, maybe no. Ends up just disappearing again. So.
It's just tough because you basically have to take like DJ as Pango with Rolling Thunder, and then you need like 1 or 2 other cores to kill. It's not super reliable. He's probably going to get Sunder off with your heroes. If you had like a Fiend's Grip with somebody that does a lot of damage, then yeah, maybe it only takes 2 heroes. But the fact that it takes like 2 to 3, and 2 of them have to be cores, means it's a lot of resources to go smoke all the way to the enemy jungle and try to kill him. Because if he's not where you expect him to be, or the gank fails, like you get really far behind, and that's way more of a detriment than just trying to farm fast.
Hello, DJ. Drag him right back in again into the pain cage, and there's a zip coming out here from Chuen. For this engagement, call down, followed with the RP. They'll just blow up Chuen. They'll blow up Y. They've got a Terrorblade here. Jabs again, he's getting all these kills, but this is not looking good for him because the rest of the team just chasing after Jabs will be able to find the kill, and nothing to say. Will get it.
Tough one. He must have tethered in to try to save Storm Spirit there, but unfortunately for him, he had 8 or 20 stick locket, so unfortunately for him, no tether afterwards, so he couldn't run away. Rough one. But they get 1 kill at least, but nice little skirmish there for PSG. Nothing to say, gotta be careful. Death would love to go in, but he doesn't quite have the opportunity. Here's the replay once again. Juan jumps in, RP catches him, that's Storm dying. There's the tether on the, that's what happened. He had to run south instead of northwest with the gyro, so he's forced to break tether basically, and at that point, it's kind of screwed. So, got a little separated. It happens sometimes, but Raven's got his eggs on the way now with the Crystallis, so most efficient build possible basically for raw damage per gold. With the eggs, he's going to attack twice as fast, and present a pretty new threat for every team fight after this. So that's one nice thing, is that Fnatic is going to have like 3 pretty strong cores. Storm is still a bit behind, but he's always a threat because of his mobility and his disable and stuff. So I feel like the team fight composition looks good for Fnatic, but PSG LGD is still an advantage with that Dota Plus win probability. So that's what it's telling us.
81%. Going for the Roche play here. Chuen sitting on the outside trying to just keep vision. They do have that creep, so they'll know that they're in the pit.
But they don't want them to know how high the HP is, and now it's going to reveal it. That lets them know how desperately they need to run into the pit, basically.
It's very scary when you have an Elder Titan on the enemy team. It's just too easy to get that Aegis to go and interrupt, set up anything here. There's a double damage available outside the pit as well.
They don't feel comfortable fighting.
Jumping forward.
Which makes sense, because if they do play in this area, look at the vision right now coming up Fnatic. They had 2 cliff wards directly around the Roche pit. Like, imagine Tinker trying to play into this. He blinks and starts rearming one time, slightly close to Roche, and they're like, kill the Tinker. They all jump on it and kill him, basically. So fighting in this pit is just not very safe right now, and it was just safer for Ame to keep hitting creeps. So they get an Aegis. It's going to buy Fnatic more time and certainly gives them a better chance of winning, but eventually PSG LG is going to take a fight.
They smoke up, and they're all grouped very tightly together over on the side of Fnatic. They find their opening, though. They follow up with the RP. They should be able to take down Y, and they're looking to go for anything else. The Rolling Thunder just making chaos. Maybe I'm taking too much damage, but over on the back line, nothing to say. He's sitting very, very low. The Rolling Kitten just goes right on in, kills him. And now this is looking a little scary here for Ame. Death jumping back in. He knows his limits. Goes for the Thunder play. The zip forward, though, coming out from Chuen. They'll pop that Manta style. Looks like they're going to be satisfied with that.
That was great for Fnatic, though. Got to force the fight. It looked a little dangerous. I thought the RP was going to catch the Storm because it was like the same time he jumped in, but Storm had balled, I think, a little bit farther, and it ended up only being Slardar getting caught in that RP, and as a result, it gave Fnatic the opening to take the fight, whereas otherwise, it would have been probably Storm dying and maybe Death also dying in that engagement. So they got PSG LGD to engage. They thought it was a good one, but the mind games for Storm. You just ball farther than they expect you to, and then you miss that big team fight ulti.
Still have the Aegis online here for the Gyrocopter. You can bet that Fnatic probably considering, especially now that they have this Blink Dagger picked up on the Pangolier, probably looking for the opportunity now to make some moves, push out a lane, get a pick off, and maybe start to crack that base.
It's definitely what they're aiming for, or control tier 2s, that kind of thing. Restrict farm that Ame has access to. It's not going to be perfect because it's pretty easy for Terrorblade to always just push out lanes safely with his Conjure Images, but when you only have to deal with like 1 or 2 of these things and you have pretty strong cores that have lots of single target damage, similar to like Slardar or Gyrocopter in this example, they should be fine. And in this case, they're even burning a relocate here to deal with the split push, because it's just not worth teleporting here and then not being able to play the rest of the map. Unfortunately, it looks like they're only going to get 1 creep wave here rather than 2, but hey, it still makes a little bit of effort.
Another creep wave right there at their...
I know. At the top lane,
ready.
You're so right.
Yes.
And
either way, this man is hitting creeps.
He is, and his net worth is actually approaching the Terrorblades now. Once you get the Ags, all these stats are almost maxed out. He's going to be forced to level his other abilities pretty soon here.
Death. Faithion finding him, though, immediately. Pushes him very far back. The rest of the team is like, okay, yeah, you're a little bit too far, Death. It was nice knowing you. Well, we'll catch you on the flip side.
That's a cool way to do it, because Death's still playing his job correctly. But if the guy that's playing in between 2 teams gets skewered even closer to your team, it's like now you're way out of position. We just wanted you to be a little out of position, you know? Raven can even call down on the bot wave. He just wants to finish his BKB here safely. He's scared about getting dived on. He knows LGD's on the map aggressively. Now he's running for safety. So once they get BKBs on Raven, who should have it now, and then Death, that is when Fnatic's super ready to take fights. Oh, I love these wards they're placing behind the tier 1. And they're just going to backdoor it. I love doing this. If you feel like the positioning's good, it's like just kill the damn tower. Screw pushing the wave.
It's not backdoor technically, right?
Correct.
Okay, ooh, it's a little bit too fast here for Faithian. He wanted that
This
grab
TP's
on
really
Shrine,
long.
but they find it.
He's screwed.
They see him. They have the glimpse right into the static storm. Try and keep him silenced, but he is able to walk away. He's got a bit of a zip. Do they have anything? He just says, nope, 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 nope. A little bit more nope. Walks into one of these illusions.
Almost screwed. He was being efficient. That's a...
Oh, they're breaking out into a fight, though. Death seeing this opening, jumping immediately over onto Y. He's going to be able to just obliterate him. As the rest of PSG, nope, DJ's there. They have the relocate. They're coming on in here with Raven with jabs. Trying to go and grab Ame. They missed the splitter. DJ, though, right on target. Death following up with these hits. Faithian over on the side was looking possibly to go in there, but there it is. There it is. Beautiful RP. They just burst down Death. They'll turn their attention to Raven. Raven doesn't have anyone to help him out. A couple more hits should be able to do the trick, and yes, that's going to be the Aegis. Kame backing off a little bit here, has Faithian at the ready. DJ trying to make some hang-outs over on the side of Raven. He's just all alone. There's no one here to help him. The IO was trying so hard. This is not looking great for him. As over on the side corner here, DJ, he's just sitting patiently. They've got the vision. They'll take down Dabs, and DJ, is he going to make it out? They have vision. They could potentially get over there. Don't quite manage to land the stomp. Is he going to be lucky? Is he going to be lucky, Purge? Is he? Is he?
Ooh, they're looking.
No, he's not. It's a double kill for Faithian.
Really nice stump by LGD there. The crucial stuff, they basically killed Death on the front line, and then it became a little bit easier to deal with the fight. It looked like a good moment for Fnatic. Like, the Rolling Thunder interrupted the TP for Ame, so they knew he can't get out. Like, you just got to get the kill somehow. But the problem was that, I mean, they even popped BKB on Gyrocopter, so like he took less damage during the RP, but the Terrorblade DPS was just too high at that point. So he committed to the attacking, but it's like these TB illusions just ate everything. It got 32 armor, so the raw physical damage that Gyro's outputting really didn't do much. Really did not. And then I was ready to like tether heal him to try to keep him alive during the respawn. But the moment he came back, he gets skewered away, which means Io's positioning, which was formerly good, was now 2-4. So that's why he got there too late. So it's just LGD playing that team fight perfectly. But once again, Fnatic getting a little too excited and thinking they had a moment to punish LGD and catch up.
Checking to take a look at any new items that are potentially going to be headed out here for these teams. Their next big move, what would you say is the next big thing that you want to see before we start to see? Oh, I mean, there it is. There's the BKB on Terrorblade. Never mind, Purge, I don't need you.
The BKB is really effective. The main thing is that it's going to make sure that Rolling Thunder is not a problem, because Rolling Thunder is the thing that's going to like keep Terrorblade busy. Now he's got BKB, he can basically offset Rolling Thunder with his own BKB. Before, like outside of Rolling Thunder, he wasn't really that concerned with disables anyways. He's got Manta for the Orchid on Storm, and past that, it's like, yes, Lar's got some stuns, but it's not going to perma-stun him, so he's basically always going to sunder. So he's really happy right now. He's very safe, and this is a really good time for LGD to fight, assuming they can land the right disables.
They're definitely hunting, looking for blood in the water. DJ, though, of course, very elusive. Should be able... Oh, the
Pinged
Spirit,
right
though.
on him.
The Spirit finds him. Goes for the stomp.
I don't think he could see the Spirit or something. It was... They knew where he was somehow. I think the Spirit gave a little bit of vision there. Yeah, he got the damage. He could blink away. Oh, he's playing a game.
He's going to walk right into Shinkyu if he's not careful here.
He just wants to cut the creep wave, but instead he's going to go for the safe TP. Doesn't want to get caught.
Seems like the smart play.
Yeah, he doesn't have buybacks, so you got to be careful. You know, if he's dead, that gives him 25 seconds to really pressure a tier 2 or something like that. So, but where do we go next on Gyro is the question. He was thinking about getting a different item, but now he's going for Satanic. He had something queued up. I can't remember what it was, but he's thinking SNY, but I was like, that doesn't sound good. He needs a way to deal with the illusions or to remain survivable, and Satanic's a good way. He'll get lifesteal even if he's stunned. But the downside is they've already got the Scotty, so that lifesteal is going to be worse. So it just feels like bad decisions to me, or bad options to me. And that's just because of the matchup. The Gyro Terrorblade doesn't sound too fun, I gotta say.
It's hard. It's definitely hard, and they did just pick up the Storm Spirit BKB though, so it's another advantage going over to the side here for Fnatic. But again, we have the BKB on the Terrorblade. He's mostly for the Rolling Thunder, obviously, but it's also just going to be very difficult for Chuen to do anything to him at this point when that is up. I think his target, though, probably going to be that Tinker trying to get a little bit into the back lines. And with that BKB, it means that the Disruptor's not going to be able to glimpse him back right where he came from.
Yeah. And the farm level of the Tinker has kind of fallen off the last couple fights, but that's what happens when you go Ags. It doesn't give you much more damage. It helps against heroes, but against creeps, not much. Oh, the Scare back? No, he's BKBs. I mean, he had to do that. If he gets Horn Tossed, it basically forces IO to relocate, and I don't know how soon he used Tether, but if he didn't have Tether there, that's like, good luck, Raven. You're in the middle of nowhere. I thought he BKB'd like mid Horn Toss. I don't know you could do that, but normally you get Horn Toss, you toss in the air, and then you're stunned when you hit the ground, but I guess it gives you time to press BKB there. So that's Raven, great reaction times. But can't react now till his BKB comes back, and he's down to 7 seconds.
This is a huge window right now for PSG LGD. They realize, okay, Gyro does not have that BKB. We can make plays. We've got our own fresh BKB over on Ame. Let's make some things happen. Chuen, though, doing the play here, making sure that he's cutting these creeps. Not going to have a particularly great creep wave. In fact, look at that one little guy. Look at him. MVP of his team.
Yeah.
He's making his way down this lane. He's going to give his life for PSG LGD like a good minion.
A lot of damage here. Got a power. Shields.
Rolling on in here from DJ, bouncing up against the wall, forcing him forward. This is going to just be a dead Ame.
They got him. They chain stunned
hold
him.
on 1 sec. We're not quite done here. Yeah, the BKB coming out from Chuen. He's going to try to put some more damage out over on the side. They'll be able to take that Q. They get the crush off, and there is a dead Disruptor lying on the ground.
They were not expecting to be able to pick him off all the way there. Somebody force staff him, too.
Whose force staff was that? That was my question.
I think it was a dire one. Because it might have been Magnus or somebody. It was Magnus or Disruptor. Somebody forced him. I don't know if it mattered. But I assumed it was a Fnatic one because it put him deeper into the base. It wasn't, and maybe that wasn't the biggest deal. The thing that hurt him a little bit, he has no status resistance right now. Because they don't have the best stuns, but it did work. It definitely worked.
Definitely worked. I mean, he's right up against the wall.
Yeah, they went from full to low, and they actually gave the shard to Io, which I have not seen before. It does a stun on the tether, it deals damage the first time you touch it, and it increases your movement speed bonus by 10%. So it's going to make this carry Gyro feel a lot safer. It's like an extra 30 movement speed, basically.
It's a speedy boy. I miss the days of Io Tether being able to do the stuns. I miss that. I miss the days of Io Tiny in the mid lane. You find yourself a good Tiny play. Oh dear, Fabian!
He missed?
He gets dragged right back in, but the rest of the team, they're going to follow up. This is not looking good. They have that rolling right on through. This is not looking good for Magnus. KZF, he wants to get something, but no, he is going to fall.
Or the relocate. This could be dangerous. Raven, BKBs.
Raven BKBing almost immediately. They do have the Earth Splitter. He's going to try to put out some of the damage again. Jabs, though. Oh, Jabs. They're going to try to TP out Raven. He's able to get out.
That was really close, actually. The BKB ended like the same time the teleport ended, but he might have been able to cast Glimpse before he went out. It was like...
You have to be so precise
That was really precise, and a huge moment for Fnatic. After killing Ame in the mid lane, which felt like, oh, we're going to get Raxed here. I really thought that Rax was going to go away. They kill Ame, then they miss the RP, get that kill, and then save him too.
They see themselves a Disruptor, they BKB, they just want to get this pesky Y off the map, and they'll be able to do it.
So it's got a BKB for it, but that does give them more map control. Don't have to worry about him. And as a result, going for kills on the other side of the map will feel easier to Tinker. I think has Hex finish, just flying it out. That'll be great. Oh, they get a catch top, actually. Finds Jingqiu jumping in for it with the Orchid, scores that kill. Was hoping to find somebody that was hanging around, and he gets him. Maybe looking for Tinker, but hey, well, he'll take a kill.
A kill's a kill.
The build that Jingqiu went for a Veil this game. Tranquil Boots, Veil, Plate Mail, so looking for Lotus Orb. So didn't get that defensive item I talked about earlier. That's one of the reasons. It's pretty darn easy for Storm to kill him. Orchid, normal Storm stuff, you got to kill. And Satanic's finished now. Now he's queuing up Scotty on Gyrocopter. Same solution that it provides against TB. You're going to limit his healing. They're both going Satanic. The item's looking pretty similar. But, yeah, Gyro's going to love all the stats, the extra HP, the slow, all that stuff will be really helpful. Elven Tunic versus Paladin Sword. That's a hard one, actually. Paladin Sword's pretty much always what you grab, and he's going to keep it. But, you know, the extra movement speed and attack speed ain't bad either. But
really can't go wrong with either one.
Yeah, but Paladin Sword, you gotta take it. You gotta take it. The lifesteal you get is just too good.
tower is just getting chipped away here by Raven and Jabs together. Another smoke coming out from the side of Fnatic.
Yep, well, whoever they find, the relocate's a-coming. Unless it's Raven TPing bottom to save his tower, they might dive on him in this exact moment. If they went right now and killed him, they could actually own. But
oh, look at this
what's gonna
Ame,
happen.
very front and forward here. Death is just a little bit off the mark as he goes with the BKB, but look at the damage coming out from this Terrorblade. He's throwing out the Scotty Twin, jumping over onto the back lines, trying to get rid of this Disruptor. Not quite able to get the burst, but there's going to be a right back again. As he goes, he pops that BKB. There's another fight, though. We get that view of that fresh new sheep stick, and it's a dead DJ.
Just great positioning for LGD in that moment. If they were reading that engagement, what they were expecting was that smoke. That was the right people to engage on. If they go on Gyrocopter, he gets relocated out, for example. So they stand high ground. Death had to jump in like that. Smoke's breaking when you're running high ground. He goes for the stun. He doesn't catch anybody. He loses 80% of his HP. That fight's basically over already because they spent so many resources just like forcing a bad initiation. So not really Fnatic's fault there, and them only losing one hero is pretty good considering.
That was very spooky for like half a second there when they were approaching. But again, when you're standing on the high ground, you have a little bit more of an assurance. Death, if you had just been a little bit closer on that, that could have turned so differently. But
Gets catch.
does find himself someone else, though. It is Faithian. They'll just run away. Raven joining in. He's got that little extra burst. You have to be careful, though, because they've got the illusions going right back. They have the Hex as well over onto Raven. Just going to sidestep these Earth Splitters. Not too concerned about them. Hoping that somebody's going to straggle, maybe be a little greedy back here. But no, PSG LGD, they realize this guy is scary when he's able to move around and get these heads off. Wise Courier, though, does get sniped by DJ in the meanwhile.
Good pickoff. Couriers at this phase is a lot of gold for your whole team, honestly. Catches you up quite a bit. Ooh, Io, the extra farm jab, 7-3 and 7. You don't get to see this often, but he's trying to buy a heart. And if he gets that, he's putting a lot of heal into his allies. And again, it's going to be limited a bit by your Scotties or whatever, but it's going to be a huge amount of heal output. And just like killing the IO himself is going to feel bad.
Just going to go push down the wave here. Come right back in again.
Doubt he's going to be able to get 2 waves, unfortunately. But yeah, they'll be right back. They just got to hang out near him.
Aegis does indeed get reclaimed.
Silver Edge on Gyro. Very weird. He basically upgraded his... I mean, he had the Crystallis all game, basically, so... Kind of interesting. Will allow him to like escape dangerous moments. It's like it's kind of cool to buy invis here, invis items on heroes that aren't supposed to invis normally. You're just kind of like, wait, what? You're just invis? So yeah, Shadowblade plus that. He could like find backline heroes better, that kind of thing. Disengage. Tinker, he could survive. You know, juke into a tree, go invis. Is Tinker gonna have a dust? Probably not. He needs all his item slots, you know. So things like that could be really helpful to give him a second BKB effectively.
I'm curious, what's the win percentage look like right now?
It's better.
All right.
It's a lot better. Experience advantage jumped a lot towards Fnatic here, but yeah, it's definitely improved because as the game goes on, Gyro gets more and more strong as just like an overpowered hero because Axe gives you like technically 2 attacks, so...
Technically, every hero gets stronger as the game goes on.
I completely disagree from a mechanics standpoint. Some heroes have stronger combinations of mechanics late in the game. Terrorblade obviously very fantastic in almost all phases, but you know, this double attack thing, you know, Rapier's effectively busted on Gyro, especially with Flat Cannon, for example, because Flat Cannon is attacking all heroes at the same time 6 times. That's really strong. JK, more than that. Ame looking for a kill here. He's got an Alpha Wolf too.
They're hunting. They're definitely hunting, hoping somebody makes their way. DJ, though, again, he's usually the first person to go up into the high ground. It's the one person that does have... he puts the Rolling Thunder going on through the jump right past Ame. Twin, though, finding over on the back line. He's going to try to just take down this Elder Titan.
It's tanky.
Death over on the side. Shinkyu, he stays alive for a decent amount, but DJ also now falling. The BKB being hooked. Twin now, this is not good. Nothing to say. Has found himself a Storm Spirit, and this little piggy's going home in a bag.
Took a lot of mana to kill Jinkyu there. That extra armor he had, the Lotus Orb, he's got pretty good HP. Oh, and another one. They find Jabs.
No songs for Jabs this time.
Did he relocate to try to cut a creep wave? Is that what happened? He just used it 20 seconds ago. So
he had...
must have been something like this.
Knocked out, but...
Oh, interesting. They Titan slivered on the Gyrocopter, and they put the Paladin Sword over for the Eye, which makes sense. More healing.
More healing.
Lifesteal, all that stuff. Gonna help keep his team alive. If he's alive, you know, that part's important. This is...
Look at nothing to say. Look at his positioning here.
It's good.
Coming forward. They immediately have an RP. They just absolutely blow the Love Raven. The follow-up over on the side, and this is not looking good now for the Storm. He's all next to him. He's done everything. They take that Juan. The buybacks are coming out of map. The BKBs are coming up with like 2. The kill over onto Y. They'll find more on Faith Beyond as the rest of PSG LGD forced to run away.
Man, pro players make buybacks look scary, I gotta say. They know there's a ward there. That initiation was like too perfect. They get it. So that's going to buy them time. And there's also a buyback on Tinker, so it's not terrible for Fnatic at all. Looked real rough at first. Watch this RP. They throw him in. Those guys are dead instantly. Storm jumps in, but great ulti from Y. He was ready for that. He knows he's the target. No BKB yet for Storm, so he dies guaranteed. And then I thought things looked bad, but Death's stun hitting 3 people was a monster with the flat cannon as well. And he's got Shard on Slardar. That's why. So he applied his ulti on 3 heroes. That's why he did so much damage. And the flat cannon is doing AoE as well. It's like insane.
Bye-bye, Shinkyu.
That's such a cool combo. Slar Shard with flat cannon.
Oh God, he had a gem on him too? He dropped a gem?
Yeah, there was a gem.
Oh, bonus gem. Surprise gem. Best kind of gem.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. No gem gift. Like, here, I bought you a gem.
No, it's exciting because you get a kill and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, bonus free stuff. It's like when you get the curly fry and the thing of regular fries, dude.
Or like when you buy fries and there's one curly fry in it.
That's literally what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Didn't I just say that, JJ? Am I crazy? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, I just just wording. I'm very picky about my wording. That's all. I'm very picky about my wording. You know, really, what you said could have been slightly more clear. That's basically my job, right? Just want to say as clear as possible every time.
It wasn't as efficient. I'm sorry,
Exactly. That's what I got. I gotta shut it down. Sorry.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Dude, I'm still excited about the Slar shard. So cool.
Yes, Perk speaks better than me right now. The
It's
Slar
so
shard.
shard. It's minus 24 AoE armor for like what 5 seconds or something, and increases the radius. So the stun is just like, it's like actually a team fight stun, you know, instead of like you stun one guy. Ooh.
They're trying to make a play over onto nothing to say, but he's already blinked out.
That's close.
Oh, he is very close there. Yep, it's just going to keep rearming. And they do have this going on in the pit. You've got DJ, though. You've got this rolling thunder that could potentially be very, very dangerous for him. He's considering it. He's trying to figure out, is it time to go? Shall I go in? Goes and starts to disrupt a little bit. This is the first. Oh, my God. Never mind. He is just super dead. Gonna have to buy back. They BKB'd already over on Ame.
Oh, they're scared. They could have taken it. They absolutely could have taken it, but they're scared. That suicide by DJ, absolutely worth it with consideration. They call down as well for vision. That's all they can do. It's got 1,600 health, but LGD's scared. If they lose this fight, it could just be game end.
Death jumping in immediately. Oh, the RP getting used only on Death. They pop the A on Death and that BKB. There's lots of damage coming out from Ame. Look at the kill on Death. No buyback on Death.
They're going to go for it.
The pit, though, are they going to be able to get it in time? Who's going to get this Aegis? Who gets the kill on
the stun?
It gets this.
He snatched
it up by Raven. He's coming right back up again. Why, though? Does go down here. Faith, and he's taking so much damage. Look at all these snowballs flying around. In a moment, we're going to have that gyro right back up again, but he's hexed up. They cannot keep him alive, but they deny the Aegis from the side of PSG LGD. There is no buyback, though, over on Death, over on Raven. This is looking a little scary.
Yeah, this is all LGD needs right now, and they're going to buy back on Y, knowing that it seems like they're not going to be able to make it back. They're still on buyback. I mean, he got almost everything on the gyro, and he cleared the supports out pretty good, but again, fighting into the Terrorblade is really difficult. He needs his teammates, and the angle was just bad. I don't see why they don't just go for tier 4s. I mean, they should clearly, but they're thinking about it. They go 1 racks. Let's see if they go tier 4s or they get 2 racks.
They should know. Yeah, they're going. They're going for it. Ame says, let's go hit these towers. There's no gyro. There was no Slardar available.
This is so hard.
What do you do?
Not that farm. You got to kill the supports first, and then maybe work down the other guys, but it's hard.
There's a vortex, buys a little bit more time. Beautiful roll forward, though, hitting over onto 2. They get the silence as well.
He's low.
They're going to be able to take down Ame. There's going to be the hex again. They'll be able to find Chuen.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. He's just gone a little bit too far here. Jabs, they're still right in position where they can still hit these buildings. Again, they do not have Ame here. Tinker coming in. Jabs is doing everything he can, rather. And they are just holding him in place. They're beating the tower. They even just kind of ignore him a little bit. They're like, we have buildings to be hitting. We have an illusion here. They'll bring him right back in again. They're not going to let him out. And there he goes. Down goes DJ, and down is going this Ancient, baby.
Instantly glimpse him back, and they're hitting it. They don't have
R&D,
glyph and they call it. Okay.
They GG.
I'm like, surely it's over. Oh,
Oh my
for
God.
a brief moment there, I really thought they might be able to do it when they killed the Terrorblade, because I was like, 3v5? Like, how could they ever get a kill on this on like anybody? But the fact that it was TV, that combo is great. Ball in, group them up with the Ags on Storm to vacuum them together. Then DJ comes in, smashes them, does the jump as well, and it basically just came down to